You know, I get a lot of flack. A lot. And a lot of people get mad at me when I talk. They be hating. And I understand why. Cause I'ma keep it 100, cause I look you in your eyes. I tell you truth and no lies. I'ma keep it 100, got something to say. I look you in your face, then I put you in your place. I'ma keep it 100, I'm not an OJ's backstabber, just a realist, thinking I'm a facts grabber. Oh, I see the fear in the people's eyes. That's why I'm breaking down the science on this genocide. Listen, they claiming Black Lives Matter, right? Well, I'ma tell you that this bull, and I tell you why. Cause whenever you hear that set from another side, then every day in black communities be on the sides. Look at these kids, yo, they traumatized. Cause whenever they see the cops, yo, they running high. And then they turn the TV on, they get undermined. And then you give them a Bible, they read 100 lies. Want them to function like a real man, but you ain't even got a clue about the real plans. Secretly, they need to keep them in the fields, man. That's why I'm killing the game, cause I'ma keep it 100, cause I look you in your eyes. I tell you truth and no lies. I'ma keep it 100, cause I'm a boss. If I talk, I'ma walk, real talk. I'ma keep it 100, cause I look you in your eyes. I tell you truth and no lies. I'ma keep it 100, got something to say. I look you in your face, then I put you in your place. I'ma keep it 100, they claiming racism dead, yo. But when we trip about it, say it's in our head, though. But then we listen to the news and hear about Freddie Gray. I mean, we ducking and dodging this shit like every day. I'm real with it, yeah, mentally we sodomized. It's cause our history book straight up been modified. They wanna take us out and book it, call it Columbine. No reparations and they won't even apologize. I'm trying to tell you that these crackers got a lot to hide. Create fantasy and cover it with a lot of lies. I'm telling y'all that the prison system been privatized. It's about that paper slavery, make up the bottom line. And entertainment got you believing this paradise. I tell the truth is something you will never like. But once it get in your brain, you'll never be the same. That's why I'm killing the game, cause I'ma keep it 100, cause I look you in your eyes. As I tell you truth and no lies, I'ma keep it 100, cause I'm a boss. If I talk, I'ma walk, real talk. I'ma keep it 100, cause I look you in your eyes. As I tell you truth and no lies, I'ma keep it 100, got something to say. I look you in your face, then I put you in your place. I'ma keep it 100. They really want us walking around with our heads low. Want us thinking we inferior cause they said so. But then we give them satisfaction cause we do the ish. We steady begging for acceptance so we prove we is. We got our women on TV showing they ratchet side. They make the whole entire race look like we savage, right? We bust it up and get a new something to talk about. But then you wanna get mad at me when I call it out. You want the truth but it seem like you can't handle the truth. How people fall but you want everything handed to you. I swear to God I'm not really understanding the youth. They got it good but won't sympathy and parent too. I tell them Negro, you really need to check your ego, cause your unwillingness to do it destroying our people. You see I'm keeping it real, it ain't about the fame. That's why I'm killing the game, cause I'ma keep it 100, cause I look you in your eyes. As I tell you truth and no lies, I'ma keep it 100, cause I'm a boss. If I talk, I'ma walk, real talk. I'ma keep it 100, cause I look you in your eyes. As I tell you truth and no lies, I'ma keep it 100, got something to say. I look you in your face, then I put you in your place. I'ma keep it 100. I'ma keep it 100, I'ma do it. Y'all ain't ready. Yo, I'ma keep it 100.
Will the defendant please rise? Miss Priscilla Clark, a.k.a. Karma the Kid. The state of Louisiana hereby charges you with the crimes of assault, battery, and capital murder in the first degree for the hit-and-run deaths of Judge Uncle Tom Moore and Bubba Clanman Willingham. How do you plead, Miss Clark?
Shit, not guilty, y'all. You've been hit by, you've been struck by a smooth criminal. If you
wanna go to court and complain, but it's either overruled or sustained, but ain't no evidence been obtained, so the kid won't be in no chains. Already trying to get karma framed, trying to put my name at the blame. Well, I'm innocent until proven guilty, so innocent I will remain. Wanna find me in contempt? Go ahead and bang on your gavel, cause I'ma continue to talk shit till I gain control of this battle. You ain't gotta go through the hassle of trying to obtain a verdict, cause I persuaded the jury to take my side was too perfect. I ain't have to do that shit nervously, I'm a professional at perjury. How I walked up out of the courtroom with my freedom and courtesy. I was tried with attempted murder, assault and battery and burglary. Not guilty on each count was how the verdict returned to me. Not out of my pocket for court costs, so they returned me my currency. Currently the dude that's injured, he is now in day surgery. Emergency, you may wanna come to his aid urgently, cause I committed murder to the first degree. But it ain't a murder, it ain't a killer thing. I just know how to play the game. It ain't a murder, it ain't a killer thing. I just know how to play the game. Now listen to me, it ain't a murder, it ain't a killer thing. I just know how to play the game. It ain't a murder, it ain't a killer thing. I just know how to play the game. Since there was no eyewitness, there was no one to testify, so the judge would not know if I tell a lie. So the only way he would is it consistent alibis, but this was premeditated, so I covered every side. I played that role perfect during the interrogation. They thought I was gon' crack when they brought up the investigation, but I was prepared for the polygraph examination. I knew I was gon' pass, I'm ready for emancipation. The prosecutors hated cause they ain't had no control. If it was up to it in my head life with no chance of parole. They asked me if I didn't and the answer was no. If I didn't and who did, and I told them I ain't know. See, they tried to set me up with false DNA evidence. I wrote 2 pairs of gloves, so there shouldn't have been no fingerprints. I know that I'm guilty, but I'm proving off my innocence without pleading insanity or copping out on self-defense. That's why I know it ain't a murder, it ain't a killer thing. I just know how to play the game. It ain't a murder, it ain't a killer thing. I just know how to play the game. Now listen to me, it ain't a murder, it ain't a killer thing. I just know how to play the game. It ain't a murder, it ain't a killer thing. I just know how to play the game. Listen, now marshals knocking on the doors and they issuing out subpoenas to people who know this girl and who might have possibly seen her. The day, the time that the crime was committed, they need an eyewitness cause they know that I ain't gon' admit it. Now not taking the 5th Amendment, trying to use any subject matter. Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, O.J. Simpson, it doesn't matter. Completed the statement, prosecution proceeds to object, telling the judge to open his eyes on my obvious suspect. Well, objection is overruled and there are no further questions, so I'm released from the stand without evidence of connection. First they brought up execution, and they gave me selections of lethal injection, the gas chamber, and even electric. And I stated, don't believe the accusations on display. If you was dumb to the fact, haters are on this case. So he thought about it and looked at my presence with some concern, and ruled me not guilty and said the court was adjourned. It ain't a murder, it ain't a killer thing. I just know how to play the game. It ain't a murder, it ain't a killer thing. I just know how to play the game. Now listen to me, it ain't a murder, it ain't a killer thing. I just know how to play the game. It ain't a murder, it ain't a killer thing. I just know how to play the game.
Order in the court, I said. Mr. Foreman, has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, Your Honor. We, the jury, find Miss Priscilla Clark, aka Karma the Kid, not guilty on all counts, and we demand her goddamn immediate release.
Ms. Clark, you are hereby released on your own recognizance.
Hey, you know what? I wasn't worried about the shit no way, cause I already knew I was gonna be released. Shit, I'm cold-blooded than a motherfucker. I am on it.
It's the High Powered Podcast. Lit conversations, debates, and advice that keep you turned up.
What's good? What's good? You in the right place at the right time. Welcome to the High Power Podcast, and I'm your host, Princella, the Queen Maker. I'm in the building tonight, and I'm so happy that we have a lot of new people in the building tonight. We got 129 eyes in here, and I'm a little disappointed because I think we should have very close to the same amount of likes. So if we can, please show Princella some respect, because the show is always gonna be lit. I ain't never gonna come to you with no bullshit. So step in with the thumbs up as soon as you get up in here. Now listen, I got my boy in here tonight. This is somebody that I consider an intellectual. This is somebody that I got a lot of respect for, okay? And if I'm going to invite a man on my channel, especially more than one time, you know he got to be certified. Right? And I feel like this brother has every right to talk to the women in my queendom. I typically tell my ladies, don't listen to no man. You ain't got no business listening to no man, but this is somebody that you can listen to. You got to learn how to have discernment. And so with no further ado, I'm going to bring my boy Ken Billions in the room. Ken, what's up?
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. We can see you.
Man, I need to have you do all my intros.
Yeah.
That was great. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm glad to be here. Glad to be with the folks on this good Saturday. The channel is growing. It's great. I'm excited. Thanks for having me back again.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you deserve to be back, because, you know, it ain't that many people out here that's doing what you're doing, that's talking like you're talking, and I feel like more women need to hear you. So I definitely want you to come in and let them hear how me and you talk, right? This ain't scripted. This is just a me and Ken conversation, a regular ass me and Ken conversation, right? And
trigger through it.
Huh?
I said they're gonna have to trigger through it.
Yeah, they're gonna have to trigger through it. So I titled this show Raising Feminine Consciousness, and the reason that I titled it that is because if we want to raise the consciousness of the planet, if we want to raise the vibration or fix a nation, like the NOI say, a nation can only rise as high as this woman, we got to talk to the women, right? Because the responsibility of raising the consciousness lies in women. It's just the bottom line for a lot of different reasons. And this planet has been masculine dominated for a long time, and we see where that's been. Now, Ken, you got a following, but who you wanted to talk to versus who you actually talking to? Can you let us know that?
No, guys don't want to listen to what I have to say, so it winds up being the women. The guys think I'm a simp.
That's interesting.
They call me. Specific. Derek Jackson. That's what they call me.
Now, why you think they call you that?
Because I'm not going hard on women, and they say I don't hold women accountable, but I want to talk to men, though, right? I'm a firm believer of get out of women's business, right? Women don't need men in their business. That's something that we have told ourselves, that women need our policing. And without our policing, you're headed to self-destruction. But I feel like if a woman chooses that for herself, she has every right to, just like me. So because they say I don't hold women accountable, that means that I'm being Derek Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Also, that anytime women agree with you, that's a problem, right?
Right.
So that's their position. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's their position. It's always Derek Jackson. It's always simp. It's always something like that, right?
Right.
So it's all good. I got thick skin.
Well, that's good. That's good, because since they ain't listening to you, and this is critical for everybody to understand,
Maya, you might as well go ahead and say hello. My daughter is slick. I locked her out of my room. I thought she was gonna be locked out, but no, she's slick. She went and found the key and broke in the room. Okay, so can you leave, please?
And plants and cookies.
Okay, all right. Amaya, can you leave?
I need to teach you the plants and cookies.
Yes. We'll talk about your teacher and your friends, and I'll take you over there tomorrow, okay? Thank you.
Cupcakes.
Yep, you can have cupcakes tomorrow, okay? All right, bye-bye. Okay. All right.
Shout out to the babies. Shout out to the babies. I said shout out to the babies.
Absolutely. Okay. All right, so I need y'all to understand that he say that men don't want to listen to him, okay? A lady called the show last night and asked me, what can I tell her to tell her uncles and brothers or whatever to get them to see? You, as a woman, you can't tell them shit because men have been talking to them and they don't want to listen to other men, right? I played it where Kevin Samuel say that when you talk to men, right, they feel like ain't nothing wrong with them. Ken's message is directed to men, but they don't want to listen, right? So you can't talk to men, right? So there's a different way that you got to handle men. And how do you handle men? By elevating women and getting women outside of their reach. That is the only thing that's going to get their attention. What you think about that, Ken?
I agree. I think the thing is, I think we're stuck in a space of games and play. I think that America for right now has been like too sweet. So it's not challenging people and it's allowed people to just engage in games and play, the males specifically, right? So when you talk about any kind of male accountability, it always shifts back to single moms. It always shifts back to the woman, always in every conversation, it always shifts back to the woman. Now, anybody that knows that follow me on Facebook, I never say women are cute. I never do none of that shit. I talk directly to the men, and because I disagree with their position, they think I'm telling women what they want to hear. But I don't know what women want to hear, right? I don't be in women's business, so I don't know. But they think because I'm disagreeing with them, that's telling women what they want to hear. And we're in a ill space culturally because anything that's above the neck in conversation, it doesn't keep people's attention. So if I was talking about single moms, my platform would go through the roof. If I was talking about women's body counts or how they should have chastity and how feminism messed up marriage and dating, my shit would go through the roof. If I was talking about passport bros, going out the country, getting with more submissive women, blah, 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 my platform would go up the roof. But because I'm not doing that, the men feel like that I'm on the woman's side, but I'm on personal development side. I'm on the side of personal development.
Okay, and in terms of personal development, what is your core philosophy around that, and what does that look like to you?
My core philosophy for personal development is heaven now. I definitely go against what we've been taught in religion that we're gonna die to get our heaven. I believe heaven on earth is here, right? Because I felt hell. And I believe that we can get heaven in our marriages, relationships, in our finances, in our health, in our friendships, in our fellowship, any space in life that we're at, we can get heaven now. And I think that we've been programmed to have limited beliefs, right? So that's why we talk in big generalities. We say men this and women this, right? And that is a way to confirmation bias for our limited beliefs. I firmly believe if you think it, you can have it. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Doesn't mean it's going to be tomorrow. It might be a 20-year, 40-year grind, but you can have it. Why are we here, right? So that's my ministry for personal development. Heaven now in every space of your life.
So in terms of where the planet is right now, where we are as a people, I want to talk about overall humanity, but also the difference between the races, right? I'm a firm believer that the black male is on the absolute bottom, and he is
he is the permanent underclass, and there ain't no help for him. I truly believe that he is a lost cause. I feel like black women still have a way to save themselves, but I think that the black male is done for, right? And when it comes in terms of community, I do not believe that males are needed for community. I believe that women are the community. I don't think that women are the backbone of society or are the backbone of community. I believe they are the community. So if black women rise above, I think that the black male is completely done for, because he is totally dependent on women to elevate him. But since he is resistant to information, resistant to listening, with an added layer of resistance outside of the resistance that white men or any other race is dealing with, I think the black male is definitely the permanent underclass. And any chick that's rolling with him, she has decided to be on the bottom right along with him. What is your position on that?
The black male in America specifically is an arrested development. That means what you have is a physical specimen, right? And no one takes that away from the black male in America. Everyone marvels at the physiology of the black male, right? The way that he runs fast, the sexual prowess, what he's able to do on football field is unmatched. To be 6'9" and move that fast. However, with that developed body that has came at the expense of imagination, that has came at the expense of abstract thinking, that has came at the expense of emotional maturity, right? Because all of the investment is on the body. Black excellence is not an internal thing, it's a performance, right? Black excellence is not discipline. Excellence is not complex thinking or solving math problems, it's dancing. Right, it's something that is involved in performance. And if you listen to the majority of the conversations that are led by black males in America, the conversation is all about performance, the image, how the black male looks, right? The cool factor. You know what I mean? We always have to preserve and elevate the black male image, but not the behavior. And that behavior is being passed on generationally. Right. I know you dealt with biology, so I think based on epigenetics, I think it's being passed down in the seed, in the behavior, that the black male cannot keep up with the rest of the world, with his counterparts that he's much bigger than. That's the interesting thing, though, because the people that dominate black men in America are smaller than him.
Right.
Think about that for a second, right? The smaller people dominate the bigger individual, right? And it's more people brown in the world, right? So the people that are not brown are a minority, right? If you think about for a second, you've heard Kanye, you heard Kyrie, right? Who are the people that they're talking about? These are not 6'7" people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These are not physical specimens they're talking about, right?
Right.
But they're able to move a 6'7" individual based on paper and based off his desires. How is the Negro always able to get tricked out of something? How is the Negro someone always able to play mind games on a nigga? It doesn't matter what is thrown out in society, the nigga falls for it, no matter what.
No matter what. Even when I swear, it's so funny because you have to take it even to the lowest level of their existence. Even when it comes to transgenders or just a dude in a dress, the first thing these dudes want to holler is, "You tricked me." If a woman is in a wig with some makeup, the first thing he want to say is, "You tricked me." That's the reason why I'm on child support, because she tricked me. Everybody tricks the black male, but at the same time, he wants everybody to recognize him as the world leader. He wants to be seen as Mansa Musa, right? They're talking about all this stuff that they really can't connect with, right? All of these pharaohs and kings and stuff, and this black excellence that they wish that they were. But when you look at their behavior and their mentality, they're light years away from functioning in that way. What do you feel about the delusions of grandeur that they have?
When you are stuck in games and play, right, it releases a chemical, right? Like Samuel Cartwright, when he came up with the idea of drapetomania, about that if the Negro runs away, that he's crazy, because what would be better than this, right? So he was always expected to laugh and giggle, and even if he feels pain, right, still dance, right? Niggas always dancing, right? So that has carried on for generations, that we're always dancing and we're always playing. It's everything is always a joke. We're very serious about stupid things and stupid about serious things, right? Because it doesn't feel good, right? So the Negro in America is all about how it feels, right? I'm not gonna do that right now because it doesn't feel good, right? So when we get the bread and we get Louis down, we pull up in the Benz, the attention that we get, it feels good. When we pop the bottle in the club, right? People are looking at us, it feels good, right? We put everything on social media, so people give us a like, and a like feels good. It's a struggle to delay gratification because it does not produce any dopamine. Right. Now, when we study the highly successful people are able to do a trick with their brain. They're able to create dopamine from things they really don't want to do.
Right.
They don't want to do this shit, but they trick their brain to feel the chemical like they're experiencing pleasure.
Right.
They don't want to do that. They don't want to get up today. They don't want to run. They don't want to go fix the building. They don't want to go do those things. But they have created something in the mind that tricks the mind, that tricks the animal nature of games and play, and it produces a dopamine, and they wind up doing it. What do we say? I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. Well, like we'll go to the job and tell somebody what we not gonna do.
Right, what we not gonna do. And these are the same people who want to be seen as leaders, right? And what they don't understand about leadership, which leadership is an art, you have to have the ability to self-govern, right? Because leadership provides a reward or a privilege of freedom. And freedom is about the ability of governing oneself, self-control, right? And being able to put the mission first. It ain't about what you want to do, right? It ain't about what feel good. It's about what has to be done. And when it comes to males, specifically black males, now I won't talk about all males because there's a nature to all males, but right now we're starting at the bottom and going outward. When it comes to the black male, he's even more resistant because of the pro-black movement. The pro-black movement was the worst thing that could have ever happened to black people. Specifically the black male, because he became so resistant to doing anything that he literally chose to be on the bottom. He didn't want to go to the military. He didn't want to work in the overworld and compete against any other race. He chose to live in the underworld. And living in the underworld requires you, the only access that you have is to come up on the back of a woman or underground dirty money. Well, guess what? Because of the age of technology, a lot of these ways of making money in the underground is about to be X'd out, right? With them putting a microscope on all of this activity for everything that you're doing, the alternative ways for the black male to come up is X'd out. But because of this, because he's gone so many years without competing, he's now in a state of confusion of what to do because he depended solely on coming up on the back of a woman or dope or some type of criminal thing. and it ain't working no more.
You know, to add to that, the way to compete with the so-called dominant society was to actually learn how to be American. If you learn how to be American, and that's how you beat them, if that's your thing, if you're trying to beat them, right? Then you learn how to be American. You learn the actually rules of America, right? You learn the taxes, you learn trust, you learn life insurance, right? You do the same things that make them successful. The issue is that what you were saying is that street is considered black man,
Right,
right? Corporate is considered white man,
right.
right? So to be street or to be anti-American is black man, right? Why do we love anytime a black man is on a job and it looks like he's saying fuck his job? We love that behavior. We stand with it, right? We stand with any male that is at the job and he looks like he's being defiant. First of all, we call the job a plantation, right? And if we have a supervisor, we refer to the supervisor
Is
as
the master, right?
master. Now, back to limited thinking. What kind of limited thinking do you have, right? That the person that's your supervisor at the job, who's somebody that you can actually get promoted up against, right? Who you can surpass, right? Who you can outperform. Why would you refer to him as master, right? See, it's anti-American behavior, and anti-American behavior is anti-success. There are rules in America. If you want to be successful, there's a blueprint. Andrew Carnegie wrote them down. Napoleon Hill wrote them down. Billionaires have wrote them down, right? Is it easy? No, it's not. But successful behavior for the black man is considered acting white. That's the problem. If you're a patriotic black man, that's considered acting white, right? If you are a black man that has a certain tone in your voice, that's considered acting white, right?
What's going on with your mic? Is kind of going in and out.
What about now?
It's good.
What about now? Okay.
Oh, it's good.
So all those things are considered acting white. Successful behavior, right? Let's take Umar. I'll say his name, right? He literally claps at anybody that's successful with a job, any black man. And if that black man doesn't have the wife that's the right tone, or if that black man doesn't align himself with anything that is considered pro-black, he claps at him, right? Claps at him. This man is never at an office.
Right.
Now I'm saying his name because an individual like him is elevated, and there's nothing that he's actually put on record, on paper, that we could duplicate to win.
Right.
Where's the wins?
No wins. And then not only that, with him, what did you have back in with Boys in the Hood days? A black man ain't got no place in the military, in a white man's army. Anything that could have structured these dudes, right? They have foregone it. Not only that, these black males don't want to read anything that white men have written. They build their libraries with black books on Kemet. No, I'm serious, right? So the person that you could learn the game from by becoming an indentured servant, you have to have an indentured servitude mentality, because indentured servants are working to gain their freedom. And I'm going to tell you what's synonymous to indentured servitude: apprenticeships. Apprenticeships are indentured servitude, because baby, you go to work for free in an apprenticeship. And people always wonder why, well, how I'm supposed to have experience after I get out of college when I got to try to work to get the experience. Because if you would have done the curriculum correctly, you would have had apprenticeships which would have given you, right, the information and the knowledge that you needed through experience. But guess what? Niggas don't want to work for free. They don't wanna pay the upfront cost to gaining what is the most valuable, which is the fucking knowledge. So you mad at the white man instead of taking the L or paying the upfront cost to get paid on the back end by going to endure just to get the information from the motherfuckers that's winning, right? That's your free gateway to go get the information from the winners. And you don't have anything that the winners have written. These white folks got the information in books that you can go buy. Ain't no color, no redlining in the library. All that's gone. Ain't no redlining on the internet. But what your search history look like? What you reading? They are so anti that they don't want to learn they quote unquote enemy. Their quote unquote enemy.
Do you know the rift between, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Do you know the rift between black men and black women, what it's over? What it's over is that the black woman now is picking being American instead of picking blackness, quote. Because first of all, picking blackness is him.
Right, exactly.
That's him.
Facts.
Blackness has nothing to do with her, because whenever a black woman is in public and she misbehaves, we never link that to post-traumatic slave syndrome. We never link that to redlining. We say she's crazy and she's ratchet. But with black boys, when they misbehave, he gets an out, he gets grace. As if the woman didn't go through Jim Crow and certain things too. But the women are picking being American. The women are picking going to school. The women are picking trying to get to corporate. The women are picking, all right, let me try to work this system, right? Even regardless of what people think about the political process, the women are still participating in it. And when you participate in it, it gives you a critique. You can critique it.
Right.
Whether it's broken or not, at least you showed up to
Right.
be an American.
Exactly.
Right? Voting is American. What is the black man saying? We ain't voting. Cool. Politics affect you whether you like it or not.
Exactly.
Right? But so look, the rift between the genders is that the black male is picking rebellion and the black woman, right, is picking being an American. And because of that, what do the black male say? Yeah, for your zaddy, you'll do it for your zaddy.
Right.
You'll do it for him, right? You do it like, what are we talking about? Like what are we talking? The way out is the way in. The way out is the way in, especially right now.
Right.
Because because they have positioned the white male so crazy where he don't even want to be a white male no more. So now it's go time. You can get it. Because the white male can't use his speech like he used to. He's under such of a microscope, he can't do some of the things he used to do. Right? He got to be real tactful and skillful. So now it's go time. Now we can actually run it up. Right? Because the white male is not what he once was.
Right.
He's not.
But guess what the black male wants to do? Instead of leveling himself up, what he want to do? He want to run to the white woman to save him. He wants to run to the white woman or marry up or date up to get some of her quote unquote privilege, because he can no longer roach off the black woman the way he has been post-slavery, right? So now that Jim Crow ain't a thing, now he thinks that he has access to some of this quote unquote privilege, right? Because he didn't exhausted what he could out of black women, right? The black male is the lowest of the low, and all he's doing is roaming around trying to find out who he can eat off of, because all of this other stuff has altered the male nature of competition. And because of the pimp game and the pimp era, they have become more feminine in their mind, and they're looking for somebody to give them something. They always looking for handouts, and they are jealous of women, specifically black women, because black women's work ethic and their achievements shine a negative light on himself, because he's told himself that he's the leader. He told himself that he Mansa Musa in the mind, right? He King Tut.
The black men actually aren't mating up, because when we say the Negro is saying we're the most desired, right? What's that mean? That's sex, and we put a lot of value on that. We say words like SMV, sexual market value, right?
Right.
First of all, anybody that's had sex know when it's over, it's over. There's no value in sex. It's sex, right? It's very primal, right? But that's how we gauge it, right? So when the Negro leaves the country, it's not to get into the politics of Colombia or Brazil or Sosua, DR. It's not that. They're dealing with streetwalkers, right? So they're dealing with the lowest of low. So they're not dating up.
Right.
They're not dating up.
In their mind, they think they are. Right.
Because, again, what does it go back to? How does it feel?
Right.
Because they can't distinguish why this woman is being so kind and nice to them.
Right.
They don't understand it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's not dating up, right? That's not the mentality. Because remember, you can't date up if you don't like women being educated.
Facts.
Right? Many cultures use education as a path up the social ladder. We say man doesn't care about that, right?
Right.
We say we don't care about your contributions, right? This is the things and the metrics that they said they care about. Feminine, which is performative femininity, right? So a look, fit, right? And friendly.
Right.
Be nice to me.
Right, which is what which was kind of what we were talking about yesterday on the show, but what I was talking to you before the show started, which was intrinsic value, right? The black male has no intrinsic value. And so a person that's low can only bring you to their level. I always like to explain it that if you have a PhD and then you walk into a classroom full of kindergartners, do you expect the kindergartners to rise up and communicate with you on the level of a PhD, or is it that you have to come down from the PhD level to get on the kindergartner's communicative level, right? When it comes to everything in life, that's how it works. Because the black male is so devoid, he's so defunct, and he has no intrinsic value, he can only lower someone else's value by demanding that they come to the same level in which he exists. So he wants women to also have no intrinsic value. And what is intrinsic value? It's based on ethics. It is based on your ability to self-master. What do you have as an internal quality that's specific to you, right? And that is independent of anything that anybody else has to say. What is that thing about you? Men keep telling you that they don't care about what is intrinsically valuable to you because they want to focus on extrinsic things, right? That have no impact on the true value in which you possess. So what they're doing, like somebody said in my comment section yesterday, they go from sea to shining sea, looking for those who are within reach. And like you're saying, they go into the streetwalkers. But in their mind, because they got something that they ain't never had before, because you and I know that niggas don't never leave a street. They don't never leave a block. So now he think he on top of the world because you got a passport. This is the biggest thing that you ever accomplished in life, a passport.
But the thing is they make it about the women from here, though. That's the
right.
thing. But when they're doing what they're doing, they have to include, ha ha, ha ha. Yeah, you see us. Yeah, we out here. I'm telling y'all brothers, get y'all passport. Cause those women over there, right? It's a thing of rejection. You know what I'm saying? Of rejection. A lot of these guys are from low income areas where, let's just face it, when you're in the hood, there's certain guys that just stand out. Whether
Right.
you hoop, sell drugs, flip, knock niggas out, gang bang, like there's certain individuals, certain guys that tend to get lost in that.
Right.
And then when that guy grows up, he becomes this guy, right? He refers to himself as the educated lane,
Right.
right? So there's some truth in that though. But when they go out, they're not. It's not a level up, right?
Right.
It's not a level up because for it to be a level up, you would have to be able to communicate with the men there, right? Because you're not from there. So the men there are going to navigate you into a different a different environment, right? Your rite of passage has to be a dude there. If I was doing that, I would try to befriend local men
Mm-hmm.
because when I get there, local men are going to pick me up. Local men are going to maneuver me around the city. It's super disrespectful to make videos going to someone else's country and treating their country like a toilet bowl. You don't go to no museums. You don't do anything with the locals. I'm just going off the pictures, right? It's all about women. In 1 second, those men are going to see you about something, right? Because it's super disrespectful. You're not adding no value. You are coming there with regular American shit. Take, 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 take. These places have museums. These places have history, especially when you're going to the Caribbean. Conquistadors were there. There's indigenous cultures there that you can go bring back some type of value here.
Mm-hmm.
Certain spirituality. They're not going to Brazil to learn capoeira. They're
Right.
not going to learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu. They
Right.
don't give a damn about that. They're not going to the Amazon. Why
Right.
is that important? Because we're taking our American project Section 8 mindset and behavior, and
Exactly.
we are infecting the entire world, right?
Facts.
So those people, their problem is actual tangible resources. What we are putting on them now, we're putting character shit, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
now different countries got Bloods and Crips there. They're listening to the music. They're seeing how we operate, and we're affecting them in a negative way, right? So this adds to what you're saying about the permanent underclass. The permanent underclass is just not a spot. It's not a
Right.
location. It's a mindset, right? And a thinking and a behavior. There's a learning curve there. There's a behavior curve there. When those individuals come to your shit, the price goes down. Nobody, no one will say something like that. When they come, the price doesn't go up; it comes down. When
Mm-hmm.
it gets in their hands, the price comes down. It doesn't have to be like that. We make it like that. It don't
Mm-hmm.
gotta be like that. We make it like that, right?
Right.
So that adds to what you're saying about the permanent underclass. There's a solution to what I'm saying though, and we'll get into that in a second.
Right. Now, we was talking before um, the show started, and I was telling you um, that the world's issue, specifically women's issue, is patriarchal poison. And you asked me about the chick that went to Mexico with her friends, right? Before I share with you what I share with you, what was your thought in terms of the behavior of the women or the friends that took this woman's life? Give me your take on that.
I I watched the video. My first thing is, if you're a parent, you got to teach your babies boundaries, and you got to teach your babies not to be for everybody. Because how do people that travel somewhere together, how are they doing this? And a lot of times, because we grow up with no advocacy, we will latch on to any people that will smile at us. You don't even know them, you know how to get down, and we start moving with them, and things like that happen. This girl was not even fighting back, and they're filming it, right? And these are people that came together, right? That behavior is associated with a culture, right? And in the culture, that's technically okay. The reason why it's okay is because for some reason, As much as we talk, why we always running out of words? We go straight to violence very quick.
Right.
Right? Also shows our that we're close to animals. Right? We go, and so that's what I thought. I'm like, damn, that baby, you just went down there with you. How does that happen? You know what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking. And then we're going to cry fake tears for this girl and fake funerals. The reason why? Because ain't nobody gonna change. The
Right.
music ain't gonna change. The imagery ain't gonna change. Nobody's gonna be like, yo, man, we are tripping. You know who I thought about, P? I thought about the property owner. I'm like, damn, you just went and this girl died in somebody else's shit. You don't know what they got going on with their property. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The trickle down effect of this. But guess what? In 2 days, her name is not even gonna be known, and everybody's gonna go back to the same behavior.
Exactly. So I played you before you were mentioning that you feel like there is something with the behavior that is different from patriarchal poison, that you feel like it's something new that don't have a name until I showed you the video from the pastor. I played this on yesterday's show. Everybody that tuned in to yesterday's show, we saw the pastor telling women, right, to figure out who the other woman is with the scent, learn what she doing, then go kill her, and then come back and take your place. When you heard that, what did you think?
I think males should be banned from microphones for like 10 years. I think that the black male in America has to earn a mic, right? You have to earn your mic. You have to me, show that you are the brightest, most well studied, most well seasoned for the mic. Because you know what's killing the culture? Niggas with mics. The Negro does not know what to do with his mic. And when you played that to me, I was like, yo, one of the main problems is the nigga pastor. He's a problem because he doesn't provide no value. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't provide no value. And everything he says is about motivation. You're not learning about finances. You're not learning anything. It's a hip hop show, right? And what you played me, I had to stop and think for a sec of like, yo, okay, well, where do you go from here? Like, what is the solution for this? What's the solution for this? And here's where I would challenge. I know you do it. I would challenge the women, right? Make niggas step their bars up. Like, to be a Negro pastor, you don't even gotta have bars. To be a male podcaster, you don't even have to read. You don't have to do nothing but show up black. And I've said this many times. And when you talk about this permanent underclass, P, the women are gonna go down with the ship if you keep focus on this nigga's sexuality. That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's so focused on the black man's, how he looks, his hair and his swag and all that shit. You can change that nigga very quickly if you wanted to. I'll be like, that don't impress me. I don't care about Jordans. I don't care about none of that shit. I don't on that. We read books over here. We do yoga over here. We study over here. We fast over here. All that shit that you're doing, we don't like that.
Exactly.
The nigga would change because he's vagina driven anyway. So the nigga would change very quickly once the women. This is the only way that I hold a woman accountable. Yo, make dudes step their bars up. If you're gonna deal with the men, make them step their bars up. Them first dates is too much dinner driven.
Right.
Go to Barnes and Noble. It's not about $200 dinners. Make him talk. Have a conversation for real. Put pressure. Where do you see yourself? What do you do? What's your hobbies? Quick, like, we ain't got time for dinner. You know what I'm saying? That's the only. Other than that, women can do what they want, to me. But if you're gonna deal with the men, these dudes got to step their bars up. Because when I hear dudes I'm like, these dudes aren't sharp, and I know they're having sex. So this is a problem.
And that's the reason why my show is focused on breaking down, because see, telling women to do that don't change nothing, right? It won't dig deep into where they need to make a change. But this is the reason why I go to the depths of the issue to get women to see male nature, who they really are, and I teach them that they're incapable of love, so that it breaks all of their beliefs about what they thought males were, and it turns the tables for women to start putting all that energy into themselves and elevating themselves. And then when they look at them, they will be looking at them with through a different lens. See, if you tell them that with the lens that they looking at them right now, it don't work. But when you change the woman's beliefs, which is directly attached to her emotional state, when she then looks at him in disgust with the lack of desire for relationships, then and only then will she genuinely be able to put this sucker on a leash and make him jump to earn sexual reward, because she genuinely has lost interest and genuinely can see through him. But as long as women still believe the patriarchal beliefs about trying to have a romantic relationship with men, trying to do the nuclear family and all of that bullshit, as long as she still believes that, she'll artificially be trying to withhold, and she won't be able to do it for a long time because she'll fall back into that general thinking. But when you change the core of her thoughts and make her look through a lens of disgust when she look at him, that's when it'll be more automatic and easier to sustain, because it's true at that point to her.
And look, I'm not against people being attracted to each other. I'm against the premise of the attraction, right? It's too performative.
Right.
And then babies come from it, right? So the culture period, but black men invest a lot in their image. It's about that. Haircuts, smelling good. These are the mating signals in the culture. Cool. That might get you to sit down with somebody. But look at the little memes that go on. We're like, no, I'm not. Olive Garden, nope. Applebee's, nope. Right? If it ain't roof quiz, I seen something the other day that said men with money ain't complaining about $200 dates. Right?
Right.
Let's be clear, right? Money or not, if you sit down with a financial planner, right? Any financial planner tell you that's a terrible investment. Especially, that's not an anniversary.
Right.
That's not a birthday. Somebody, no, you just met somebody and you spend $200 on a date.
Right.
Now, I know we all think we're flexing, but the numbers say that everybody's living check to check. So someone's fucking lying. Pardon my French. So the investment is in the performance. So
Right.
somebody could take a picture and show their meal and be like, yeah, somebody took me last night to a 5-star. Nobody is at Barnes and Noble.
Right.
For people that say they come from slavery, for people that say they come from redlining, oppression, marginalization, right? For people that say their history was stolen, y'all sure do a lot of pleasure-based hanging out, right? Meet me at Barnes and Noble. Let's talk. There's dates that don't cost nothing. For real, we shouldn't even be spending no money anyway.
But here's the thing, right? This is only under the premise that a woman is looking for a man, right? Right? If we get to the point where women are not looking for men, which is how that works, because here's the thing, feminine energy attracts, it don't go seeking, right? Your everything that's feminine, that DC outlet, that outlet just sits still. It's a power cord that's looking for that motherfucker. The power cord is moving, not the outlet, right? So the TV on the wall ain't moving. You moving the power cord to the fucking TV, right? Your dreams, your goals are not chasing you. They just in your mind. They sit still. You the one that got to move towards it, right? So any woman looking for a man is already out of order. She don't need to go to Barnes and Noble with the motherfucker, right? She don't need to hear shit he talking about. It's his job, her job, just like your dreams and your goals are to ignore you. You got to go get it. You got to chase your dreams. Dreams are feminine. Imagination is feminine. Right? So women need to stop looking for men. That's the problem. What the fuck you looking for them for? What is it that you looking for? Because everything that you can get that's of value, you can get from yourself and a connection with other women. So what is it? He who finds him a wife finds him a good thing. She ain't got to go nowhere with him. All she got to do is show that she's out of reach. And it's about how she move, how she dress, where she goes by herself, or where her and her crew go, right? Are they going to museums? Are they going to Barnes and Noble? Because guess what? If he see this where they go, and if he really wanted to get with them, he would level up and do it. She ain't got to go nowhere. And I want women to get out of the idea that they need relationships, because the pimp game, you hear it, men control sex. No, women control sex, men control relationships. Right. So what is it? What is it that they're saying? That they, since you dangle sex over me, I'ma dangle a relationship over you. But guess what? When the bitch ain't looking for a relationship, you lose all goddamn power, because that's your trump card, right? So people who are looking for relationships are looking to get their deficiency needs met for free out of somebody else. Well, when I teach women to fulfill their own needs and build social connections with other women who are healing themselves and elevating themselves, she no longer has a need for a man. It will now be easier for her to be out of his reach. And if he wants her, he gonna do. But this time, it's different, because she's elevated on love of self. So now, with all the work that she got to put into herself and all of the leveling up she gonna do, baby, you can't just have a motherfucking car. Baby, you can't have a Louis belt and it impress her. That's nothing. What you really got, because see, now we looking through you. We not looking at you, we looking through you. And when you look through these motherfuckers, when you take everything away from them, strip them of their motherfucking Louis belt, strip them of their shoes, strip them of their job, what they left standing there with? They left standing there with their motherfucking self. And who are they? And what you gonna find is no intrinsic value. Take all that shit away and you'll find no intrinsic value. And that's when she gonna discard you, because she done put too much work into her motherfucking self to fuck with somebody who ain't put none into theirs.
How do you suggest a women detox from, because there's so much cultural pressure, it's commercials, it's peers, it's social media, especially for young people. How would they detox to get to the point where if a guy got a belt on, she's not impressed. Or if he pull up in a fly ass whip, she's not impressed. Like what would be the things that she would have to detox from to be able to look past all those things, to look at the individual's humanity?
Well, first, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? It all starts somewhere, all right? And a computer is only smart as its programmer. The feminine is the computer. This is why you see men talking to women. This is why women are quote unquote more suggestible, because women are the fucking computer, right? So a computer is only smart as its programmer. And inside of the computer, you have what is called the motherboard, right? That's where all of the wisdom is. So what am I telling you is that it all begins with the program. Women have to be deprogrammed and uploaded with a new program. And what is that program? That program is philosophy. The program is philosophy, right? So it all starts there, because when you go look at the definition of philosophy in the context in which I'm using it, it is a theory or attitude held by a person or organization that acts as the guiding principle for behavior. The guiding principle for behavior. So in order to change the behavior, right, you have to change the software or the program. So we upload a new philosophy, and when you upload a new philosophy, you change your sight, because you don't see with your eyes, you see with your mind. Right? So when you change the mental state, you automatically begin to change the emotional state. And it is critical that you change the emotional state, because no action can come without a preceding emotion. So how do you affect the emotions of a person? By getting down to the why. You have to have a strong why that catapults a person into the right direction. So anytime you go to any type of training, specifically with the military, right? I love the military. And if I had to do it all over again, if I had to rewind my life, I would do the same exact thing. I would join the fucking military. In the military, what did they do? The whole thing is to break you down and build you back up, right? Everybody who understands human behavior and human psychology understands that you have to do a breaking process. So I have Pimpin' Ken right here, Pimpology, right? Everybody who understands human psychology understands that you have to go through a breaking process. So let me just read this from Pimpin' Ken. This should let y'all know that you should join my book club, because I'm a motherfucker, right? Right? Weakness is the best trait a person can find in someone they want to control. If you can't find a weakness, you have to create one. You have to tear someone's ego down to nothing before they will start to look to you for salvation. Then you have a chance to build them back up, showing them that it's your program that takes them from darkness to hope. While you want them to feel good about themselves eventually, you want them to feel that it is because of you. They begin to see you as their champion, their hero, even if the weakness you rescue them from is the one that you created. Now, everybody who understands human psychology and human behavior understands that you have to take a person through a breaking process. So, in order for women to change, I have to take them through a breaking process to shatter their complete illusions of the old software that's running in their brain. And I got to come with a strong why by uploading a new program, which is a new philosophy. And the philosophy and the program that I have, that don't nobody else have, is that men are incapable of love and the 5 components of love. This is my breaking process. That draws up emotions and strong feelings in a woman, because when I do my breaking process, I make sure that I show them the raw dog truth of male nature. Doggish. I want you to hear the doggish shit that you can hear from these motherfuckers, to show you who you have romanticized. That is going to conjure up strong feelings that will catapult them in the direction that they need to go for their own personal healing. They have to go through a breaking process, and Rome wasn't built in a day.
I think the one thing right there, I got that book too. It's interesting. I think the main thing is what you just said, male nature.
Mm-hmm.
I think people see it. I think women see it. I'm not sure they for real know it.
They don't know it,
the,
right?
The levels of like what the male is. Like, we're different, right? The way I see the world is different, right? Until I begin to go into some deeper things to change my psychology. But my natural state as a male, I see the world different, right? So how we're born and how we're conditioned is we do things as a means to an end, right? Okay. Wife is a means to an end, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we talk about with our boys is a means to an end. Hey, I like this girl. She looks great. I'm going to get her pregnant so I can have a family. It's a means to an end, right?
Right.
You never really ask the woman what she wants.
And that's what I try to tell women. I try to tell women that men use women. They use you. Their brain uses you as a tool. And women are steady trying to look at men as if they're equal or created the same, and they're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a means to an end. I like this girl. I'm going to get her pregnant. I'm going to marry her as a means to an end, because I need to build something. I need to do something. What the male is about legacy. The male's either going to leave his name be doing something infamous, Charles Manson, Columbine, or he's going to leave his name in corporate, right? But if the male has no opportunity to leave his name, self-destruct, right? So it's a means to an end. I'm doing this because I'm trying to get somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
In America, you get married, right? You use the wife to get somewhere. I got so much going on. I need somebody to file my papers. I need somebody to clean up this space where I'm at. I need to come home to a crib, cook meal, because I'm doing something else, right? Never ask the woman, yo, you good?
Right.
You straight? Is this what you want? Right? Are you straight in this, right? And oftentimes you don't see the woman come alive until her last kid is 18. All of a sudden she's like, oh, right? She's 50 now, right?
Right.
And a lot of women from the old paradigm, they didn't know how to reset their life, so they just stayed in that, right? But male nature is to survive. It's not to live, it's to survive. And we don't actually go into another psychology until we start taking the hero's journey, or going to the man side. Some people take ayahuasca. Some people use breathing techniques what you're trying to do is you're trying to suppress your survival button as a male.
Right.
It's always on. Survival. So in survival, even the marriage is about survival.
Facts.
Even the woman's aesthetics is about survival. If we're saying you're gonna die alone, that's to appeal to my survival.
Facts.
Right? And peep what happens in the marriage, right? The woman ages very quickly, right? The man all of a sudden starts to look better. Why? Because there's a reverse happening. The man is sucking the youth out of the woman.
Facts.
There's a reason the man goes younger. It's not just because she looks good.
Exactly.
We're talking about the psychology and the biology of, I need that because on an energetic level, it's going to ensure my survival. But in the process, that same young woman, 10 years later, how does she look? What happened to her youth? What happened to her beauty? What happened? He has it now. That's why 40, 45, 50, this nigga's popping. Millionaire, he's good. Why? The last 10 years, he sucked that vessel. It's coded in the species. It's not personal.
And that's what I try to tell. That's what I try to tell women, that the male, when he gets older, the reason that he doesn't want an older woman is not because she don't have no value. It's because her age reminds him of his mortality, and he needs a younger woman to suck the youth or the life force energy out of it to prolong his life. That's what it's about.
Why does most men lose their mind if they find out the woman is with another man? Why? It's not her sexual body. It's the fact that you're giving your energy and your
exactly,
life force
to somebody else.
another man, right? Now, the newness of the relationship, all of a sudden the woman gets her thing back, right? He's new, he's fresh, he's giving her compliments. All of a sudden she's getting her hair done, right? And the man can notice it because she been a dead vessel. So with the new man, he's complimenting her, sending her texts. What does she get? What is he giving her now? Attention, right? And that attention got her in the gym. Got that attention, got her compliments. Now she's starting to remember who she was before, right? But here's the thing. If she sticks around too long with that individual too, the same thing is going to happen because it's pre-coded in the male nature. It's the design for survival. That's it's not personal. Can males transition? Yes. It's very difficult though, right? But there's things on the books that people smarter than me have wrote. Confucius, or we already know the great philosophers. And if you look at their work, who are they talking to? They're not talking to women.
Right.
They are trying to figure out how to calm the savage beast. Whether that was Pythagoras, whether that was Socrates, any great thinkers, they focused all of their attention on male behavior.
Facts.
They didn't write books about women. It's about the male.
And that's exactly what I tell women. I say, listen, man, I know men better than they know themselves. One, not just because I've been around men and worked with them and everything and all of that, and I've analyzed them. I got the male's mind in my hand because I have all of these books that were written by men, about men, for men. That's really critical because a woman wasn't even a thought in their mind when they was coming up with this stuff.
Yeah, that's the key thing. Plato, these thinkers, these philosophers, they're not talking about women. The only really old, if you want to call it philosophy book, right, that really focuses on women tough is the Bible. Right? Bible and the Quran, those Abrahamic religions focus on women tough. Why though? Because it's about male survival. Right?
Right.
Get a wife, right? Have the wife subservient to the husband for his survival. It's about the male survival. Right?
Exactly.
The virgin, make sure she's pure. Why? That does something for the man, his confidence, his psyche, to know no other man has touched you. Right? It's pre-coded in the species. It's not personal. You don't have to be like, oh my God, why are these people like this? It's pre-coded based on a old paradigm of Paleolithic and Neolithic life. The male has not adjusted to the new world. This is why anytime you hear a male conversation, it always goes back in the day. Back in the day. The 40s. The males don't talk about 2030, 2050, 2060, 100 years from now. Where do they go? Back in the day where it was conducive for their survival.
Exactly.
They go right there, and then the woman falls into it and says, you know, You're absolutely right, sis. And then the women go back to their other sister girls. We're out of line. We need to listen to these men. Yeah, and
Exactly.
she don't even know what she's doing. She what the Martin Luther King said, going into a burning house. You going right into a burning house. All you have to do is sit and listen. Yeah, they're gonna come back to the table. They're gonna come back to the table. What does that mean? What does that mean? Many of them have dystopian futures. If this society falls, watch these women come running to us. Listen how they talking,
Right.
right? What is it about? Survival. It's not about the growth and like companionship of like walking through life with a partner and a friend and like I want to see you get old. I want you to see me get old. I want to share things with you. I want to see the world with you. I want you to share with me. It's not about that.
Right.
It's I need you to do a specific thing and play a specific role so it makes this survival thing easy. But what's going to happen with you is you're going to birth me some kids, and that hot girl that you used to be, that baddie that you used to be, I'm going to suck it out of you, right?
Right.
And then as you age, I'm going to replace you with someone younger.
Yep. That's what it's about.
That's the game. And it's hardwired in the species. Again, can a male overcome that kind of paranoia? Because that's what it is. It's paranoia of trying to live forever and understand that time is not on your side. Instead of just living and focus on quality of life, can a male overcome that? Like you were saying, Pete, it's Rome ain't built in a day. Yeah, but the individual has to do some major shadow work.
And that's what I try to tell women, that what y'all want men to do is extremely difficult for males because y'all just don't understand how they're made up. Males have so many different biological impediments that are wired in that it takes a large amount of effort, willpower, and self-control to surmount that shit. Things that you can do with ease, the male cannot. It's just the bottom line. And because he looks at this mountain of things that he just give up. He don't even try.
Yeah, that okay. What you're asking somebody to do is go against this urge that's inside of them. And what you're telling them, I don't know if anybody's ever fasted before. Look how hard that is, right? So now let's take the sexual urge, the need to manipulate and dominate, the need to control. Those is a thing that just arise in you just on a species. And what you're asking the individual to do is suppress something that has been hardwired in them for 10,000 years based on the species. This is why we only know those couple great minds, P.
Exactly.
Pythagoras.
Right.
We know them. We could go just down. It's only a couple that
Right.
have been able to go up the ladder of experience another level of humanity. Where
Right.
you're not in paranoia, where you're totally in line with nature, where you are anything you take, you put back, where
Right.
you allowing things to grow, right? What do we do as men? Anything we see we don't understand, what do? We kill it.
Right.
I'm afraid of it. I'm gonna kill it. I need to instead of watching it in nature, I need to kill it first,
Right.
and then I'll understand it.
Right.
We don't, you know what I'm saying? So if we take that same philosophy to women, if we do that to nature, right? I need to kill you to understand you. Okay, that's what marriage is. That's what babies are. That's what a relationship is. You think you think it's a genuine interest. No, I need to quote, lack of better words, unalive you, right? To understand you. And what happens? The woman gives birth. The woman gives up her life. The woman does a certain, she adheres to the man, right? And her whole history is lost. But he begins to develop and he begins to grow and he begins to look better. You look at GQ magazine, it's all 40-year-old dudes, 50-year-old dudes. Their gray is looking nice. Look at his wife, though.
Right.
That's male nature, right? I can feel it in myself. I have to run towards things to try to domesticate that shit because it's part of a wiring again that has been going in the male species 10,000 years from an ice age. It's not going to change overnight. We just got this technology, right? So male nature is just not men being attracted to women. It's a little more diabolical than that.
Exactly. I try to tell them it's diabolical and it's sinister, and they don't understand, right? They and because I'm a woman, right? They can't really see that this woman know what she talking about with a male, because I'm not in a male body, but I understand the male makeup, the male behavior, and all of that, right? I don't have to be that when you study that, when you observe and you analyze that. And I try to tell people, the scientists know rats better than their rats know themselves. There are male gynecologists who understand the female reproductive system better than the female herself. Just because you have it, just because you're in the body, don't mean that you understand self, right? Because I'm on the outside being able to analyze, study, and observe. I went to school for cell and molecular biology, so how your body is made up. I know where to go research to find out what's going on with your brain wiring, all of that stuff, right? And then on top of that, I have esoteric information dealing with spirituality and how the law of correspondence works, okay, in terms of humans. So I have a little bit more of a perspective on males than males have of themselves, right? And so I try to convey to women how men are wired, and that the things that I'm saying, I'm not just saying them for shock value. I'm saying it because it's real. They just haven't come to the conclusion that it's real yet.
I don't think see, in America we don't know too much about Attila the Hun. And in America we don't know too much about Vlad the Impaler, right? We don't know too much about Genghis Khan, right? We don't know too much about Jack the Ripper, right? And they have important psychologies, because if you peel back culture, this is what you get, right?
Right.
The 20-30%, I believe, of people in Asia have like Genghis Khan DNA, right? He ran through a damn near whole continent, right? Just putting his will on it, right? That's the nature of the male, right? If humans are going to go colonize another planet, who are they going to use?
Right.
They're going to use the
male. Exactly.
Right? They're going to use, hey, go do this. Now, the master of all masters is able to control male behavior.
Facts.
And make it work for them. Now, that is what some people use the term alpha male. That is alpha. But he's not actually an alpha male. He's actually a man.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I try to tell them. That is the purpose, because when you have all of this masculine energy that has no direction in and of itself, that has to be controlled. And there's going to be a superior man that comes to control that, to bind those frayed wires and to direct it to some purpose, because the male in himself cannot derive a purpose on his own. It takes an elevated male that transitions into manhood, which is at the top of the pyramid, which is hard for the average male to do. So people, my favorite is General George Patton, right? Man, I tell women that if you see a man that is at another level, I need you to understand that he goes against male nature. All these dudes talking like they the exceptions to the rule, they are the average male. They are not men, because men go against male nature. And those guys are few and far in between.
All right, trigger through this. The reason why the white male is more of a man than the black male is because encoded in the DNA of white men is a history of the Ice Age, right? That you have to problem solve to overcome that right there, right? You have to, listen to this, P. You have to chase your food. You have to set traps for your food or you're going to die, right? Now, the Ice Age, these people are not seeing the sun for a very long time, right? So their psychology is different. When you look at the Vikings, when you look at Leif Erikson, they're wired for that. Why? Because of their region. Okay. Because the black male is not problem solving, he's not equipped to go against the white man. Because the white man, deep in his psychology, is problem solving because of nature.
Right.
Right? Deep inside the black male psychology in America is an overseer.
Right.
Right? Listening to the overseer. Right? Obeying the overseer.
Right.
Right? How do black men act when the police come? All that
Like
tough shit.
Like Charleston White. Charleston White swear he just made a video. Get out, shoot up the block. The cops coming.
The toughest dude.
Yeah.
The toughest dude.
Yeah.
Right? Why though? Because in the psychology, you dealt with epigenetics, right?
Yeah.
In the psychology, there's a history of saying yes, sure. Right? In the white male psychology, why do they are attracted to Napoleon? Why are they attracted to George Washington? Why do they erect monuments of warriors?
Right.
You might not like them. I don't give a damn.
Right.
Right? We erect a monument of George.
It's Floyd, exactly. A degenerate.
But look what happened to him, right?
Yeah.
We build a statue. We paint murals of people that something happened to them.
Right.
They erect statues of people that made shit happen.
Right.
Different psychology. And then they come out with books like Might is Right and sayings like Fortune Favored the Bold. And then they have history on their side. They have Manifest Destiny and the Doctrine of Discovery. They create literature that supports their conquests and their moves. And you know what we say? We say it's not fair.
Right.
But that is the behavior of man.
Yep.
Man is going to control males.
Exactly.
Period.
That's it.
And the male is always going to be subservient to the man. And the ill thing is, modern man don't even fight no more. Alexander the Great, those old people, they had to fight. They had to establish things. They have rose in the ranks of psychology and philosophy to the point where they don't lift a finger. Look at The Art of War. Look at Robert Greene. Look at 33 Strategies of War. Look at The Art of Seduction. Pimp and Ken's book was a playoff of 48 Laws of Power.
Exactly.
Where's the Negro book with dark psychology again?
Right.
That black men, we don't even write shit like that.
Right.
We don't write shit like that because we're competing on a very, very small level.
And that's what I was telling you before the show started, that the Negro male is still a conqueror, but he's not conquering men, he's conquering women, which only proves what you just said with Pimp and Ken, a play off of the 48 Laws of Power. And what was this book about? How to conquer women. While Manifest Destiny was about how to conquer planet Earth and take over all the land. Right? So
that's a big. Oh, go my bad.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say. Look at the heroes, right? Dancers, right? Like, that's what we like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We like speakers that make us feel good, right? Look at the difference. When they talk, those men over there, They talk in systems, how to create systems. So much so that they have mastered this planet. Now they're trying to go to another planet. Whether they get there or not, I don't know. But look what they're doing with the Hydra Collider in CERN.
Right.
Smashing particles together. Negroes ain't even part of the conversation. No physics conversations, nothing above the neck. Where do we play at? What do we talk about on podcasts? Man, how was your last marriage? Oh yeah, did he yeah, did you guys sleep with each other? Oh yeah. Gossip. Why? Because the Negro is reduced to body. That's the male. The male is the body. Man is mind.
Exactly. Man
So
is
much
mind.
So much so, P. Man, there's men that are so mind that they don't even know how to function in body. Mark Zuckerberg is socially awkward in body. He don't know what to do, right?
Right.
But give him a pen and a paper and watch what happens. Give him a computer. Give him a system. Give him a grid. Watch what happens. See, he don't know. He doesn't have physical intelligence because it ain't about that. This
Right.
ain't the Stone Age. It's about mind. And the women I see, here's the thing too. The women are going towards more mind than the men, than the males. They're going towards more mind, right? Because astrology, ancient symbols, crystals, that's nature, that's mind. That's where all the women seem to be going. They're going into a more of a nature, intelligence of nature. That's mind. Something beyond the physical to tap into something. That's mind. And I think that's the difference. When the female rises and becomes woman,
Right.
she begins to start manipulate nature.
Exactly.
When the male rises in man, he's able to manipulate humans. They're different, right? Because
Right.
the man human, he has control over
Males.
male.
Right.
But guess what? That man, he always goes to see who? An
No, an oracle, which is woman.
woman. A
And so what woman does, and this is what I try to tell women, love is at the top of the pyramid. It's a transcendent, right? It's transcendent. And when you reach the frequency of love, you reach God mind. So when women become love, she becomes God on the physical plane, which manipulates nature, right? And so that's where I'm trying to take the woman to get to the frequency of love. But because love has always been an abstract concept and people think it's a feeling, the woman has never been able to actually get there. But with the information that I have now, I can take the woman there, right? Which will change the structure or the systems of this planet, because that's where it has to go. The consciousness of the planet has to increase. It has to rise. And unfortunately, a lot of people going to be left behind if they don't get with the program.
we should double back on that, because that's a big thing. The male transitioning into man, you begin to have a mastery over humans. The female transitioning into woman, you have mastery over nature.
Hold on just a second.
Right.
Let me go lock my door. Hold on.
Okay. Shout out to the babies.
I might get out. I'm trying to do the show. Okay? You need to watch TV. Sit down and watch the show.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, wherever you at, whatever you're doing. shout out to you. Hope you're getting something from the convo, and hope you focus on personal development. Hope you focused on coming into the new year on the up and up, being better, thinking better, moving better.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. So yeah, I want to park this car with you real quick right here. So let's see what your take on that.
Okay.
So the male rising to be man,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is supreme dark psychology components.
Right.
Able to control other humans.
Mm-hmm.
And the female, right, coming to woman, able to manipulate nature, right?
Right.
J.P. Morgan said, anybody can be a millionaire. To be a billionaire, you need an astrologer.
Right. This is facts. This is facts. And I've been trying to tell people, I've been trying to tell people that these high-powered people been into the spiritual sciences like astrology, which is why they which is why they have the ability to strike the iron when it's hot. Their timing is impeccable. And so this one world government, we've been knowing about the one world government because they've been talking about it for years. They already knew long ago that we was going into this divine paradigm shift around this time because they are in tune with the spiritual sciences. Some shit that the average person ain't been into, that they have demonized by keeping you blinded through religion. Right.
And it's ill, P, because if you notice, when the Spanish, the Portuguese, European went throughout the world, the first thing they shut down was the priesthoods. Right? They destabilized that, right? And I think one of the handicaps of the women is they're not witchy enough.
Right.
They're not witchy enough. Because even when they go new age, they still talk in terms of, oh, I'm a goddess.
Right.
But in her mind, the male god is
right
above. I'm a goddess. I'm subservient, right?
Right.
So even though the NOI says a nation cannot rise above its woman,
they still trying to hold on to it because him being attached to it drags her down. So what I say is they want matriarchal benefits under patriarchal control, right? You want the woman to rise, but see, you as a male are an anchor. You got to let the woman be free in order for the nation to rise. But the divine feminine is coming back to break the hold that males have on women so that she can rise, and you will be put back into a natural state of survival of the fittest. You either gonna be the fittest or you gonna be out of this motherfucker, because she's gonna make sure that the woman rises through freedom. But this is why it's important for women to be able to understand the responsibility that comes with freedom. You can't handle this shit like the male has handled it. So in order for you to handle it correctly, you have to totally rid yourself of the poison of patriarchal philosophy.
P, if you notice, it's crazy because even though those grannies, they was indoctrinated with Christianity and they were still witchy. They knew where their babies was when there wasn't around.
Right.
They knew, they felt something. Grandma said, I had a dream of fish.
Right.
That's witchy as hell. And if you notice, that ability is gone.
Gone.
That ability to be hooked up to nature, to know how your family members are, to know that we don't even need a map. I know, take a left, take a right, right? We're so shut down that if we see a symbol, we automatically be like, oh, that's the devil symbol. And
Right.
it's funny because all the things that can empower us, why it's evil.
Right.
We're only left to say in Jesus' name. But hold on, you got a whole grandmama.
Right.
You had a whole great granny.
Right.
Why wouldn't you invoke your own bloodline? How you gonna go to a stranger right? Because the witches was shut down,
Right. And you know when it started getting shut down, because you remember, TV used to go off. Remember? TV used to go off. You couldn't just go to a restaurant at 11:30 at night. Right? You were still, kids used to go play outside. There was still an element left to humanity, but we have become completely engulfed in programming in every way, shape, form, or fashion. You can't go nowhere without being bombarded with suggestion. Left, right, up, down.
The black woman was the witch of America, right? It was her nipple that fed babies, right? And her insight that was leading the country, right? Don't forget, Madam C.J. Walker was rich, but so was Annie Malone. So was Mary Allen Pleasant, right? You had these black women 150 years ago that was able to draw strength despite what was going on, right? And they became advisors to powerful people. Okay, it's crazy. Ratchet culture is anti-witch.
Right.
So that is still an expression, but it's anti-witch though.
Right.
Right? It doesn't deal with nature.
Now, why don't you go into, because you know they removed Lilith out of the Bible, right? And they did that for a reason. They wanted to make it seem like Eve was Adam's first and only wife. But there's some people that want to know about Lilith, because even in astrology, right, Lilith has a place in astrology, right? And she got a bold energy, and I actually have a lot of Lilith placements in my chart. Can you give some insight about Lilith?
Yeah, she would not submit to the man, right? So you learn about this in a lot of Jewish mythology, right? She would not submit to the man, right? And then I based on the story, what I remember, she came and took his seed while he was sleeping, and then she created, her own family, right? The devil is a woman, right? It's the woman. This is why the woman has been so castigated, right? She's the woman because she went against Adam, right? So then when you do the new creation, because in the book in the first couple books, there's two creations, right? There's a creation where this being is created from the dust of the earth. Then there's another creation that's male and female, right? So you have two creations right here. And then all of a sudden, this new woman, she gets a name. She didn't have a name first, but she gets a name, right? And then she is the woman of the curse.
Right.
If you read the scriptures in the Bible, the woman is not naturally submissive until she falls.
Right.
Her desire becomes to her husband now because of her fall, right?
Right.
Lilith goes towards the serpent. Why? Because the serpent represents wisdom, right? The woman, she wanted to know, right?
Right.
Now, now when you transfer that into right now, what is happening as the culture is dipping?
Right.
The women want to know.
Right.
They don't want to know. But their natural state is to go towards the serpent. The natural state for the man is to go to the tree of life, survival.
Right. So,
The woman goes to the tree of knowledge. The man goes to the tree of life, survival. This is why knowledge is always like paired with woman. It's when we have these mental level ups, it's a woman.
Right.
It's a woman that brings us to. You mentioned Pip and Ken. Where does he learn the game from? From a woman.
From
that's
a
in the
woman.
game.
Right. And
From a
that's why I try to tell women, Tupac said it in his song, Keep Your Head Up. Since we all got our name from our woman and got our game from our woman, I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women. The fact of the matter is, every single thing that a man does to you, every way that he operates, he took it from the nature of a woman, because males are recessive. They come from women. They don't have their own identity at all, right? So even when it comes to pimping, where did the male get his image and his thing from pimping? From white aristocrat males who used to race horses. The black male specifically has taken his identity from the woman and the white male. He has no identity. Everything come from you, which is the reason why the male blame you for everything. He ain't responsible for shit, right?
Sure. No, that's true. Yeah, that's true. So the Lilith, the Lilith is an energy, right? So someone that had the Lilith energy was Josephine Baker, right? The way that Josephine Baker was moving was forbidden at that time. This is early 19th century, right? She goes to Paris and becomes this icon. But what was she doing? Gyrating the hips, right? What was she doing? She was invoking this thing in the men, and they can't control themselves, right?
Right.
So she was put down here in her own country, and then she goes over there to be exalted, right? She's a legend.
Right.
But she had the Lilith energy. When Cardi and Meg did the song WAP, right? Why did people lose their mind? They lose their mind because I think, this is my personal belief, that it's trigger a psychology in the human beings of how the world was probably pre a global catastrophe. Okay. And I think, based on what I've looking at, after this global catastrophe happened, Graham Hancock talks about this, and Randall Carlson talks about this. It's about like 11,000 years ago, that something happened on a planet that was an extinction level event. So it was either a big object through the gravitational pull of the Earth off, and there's some type of Earth crust displacement happened. Anyway, the people that survived, I think they wanted they put it on something supernatural and why this happened.
Right.
Because all of a sudden you see this fall of the woman, right? You see this fall, but there's carvings of women in their nakedness that's 40,000 years old. And the Abrahamic religions take this firm stance on female expression.
Right.
Why? So I think that something happened globally and they needed a fall person.
Right.
And there was like, you know what? The gods are upset with us because humans are very superstitious.
Right.
So they had to ping it to female sexuality. That's why the Abraham religions, their primary focus is on the behavior of women. Why? That comes from a psychology, and then all of a sudden you see this within written language. 6,000 years ago, things pick up.
Right.
Right, and then there's a conscious removal to destroy anything was considered pagan, and anything pagan, what is it? It includes women.
Right.
They just automatically obliterate that, and I think it's because a global event happened, but tinfoil hat, right? But that's what I peg it to. When you look at the old folklore, there was all these temples for women, all this reverence for women, and then it stops. Something happened on the planet, and I think there was an agreement to satisfy the gods. It's time for phallic worship, but I think it was only for a time period because you see this rebellion coming out now.
Right. And that's what I was I think I was telling women is that the Hebrew Israelites, right? The Negroes and the Hebrew Israelites, when they talk about white folks was given 6,000 years, because they talk about Yaqub in Nation of Islam. They talk about Yaqub and this 6,000 year rule. They think that this between the black race and the white race, but I think this is between masculine and feminine. That that the masculine had 6,000 years to prove that he could take the place of the divine feminine, the true creator. and his rule is up, and now that bitch coming back, and you see it.
The men in power know though.
Yeah, they know
See,
it.
the men in power, they know, right? Because again, they're dealing with priests and priestesses,
Right.
right? So for any women any here that's Christian, okay, there's a mystic side to that. It's not, right?
Right.
So you don't have to give up Christianity, but go to the mystic side of that. Hermetics is also part of like the mystic side of
Right.
Christianity. Coptic, there's like a mystic side of Christianity. In Islam, there's a mystic side of that, which is like Sufism. In Judaism, there's a mystic side of that, which is the Kabbalah. And a person that I can put in your face that is into that is Madonna.
Right.
Madonna is into the Kabbalah. You take away Madonna, you have no Cardi B.
Right.
You have no Meg Thee Stallion. You don't have a lot of these people that you have, right?
Right.
So Madonna is into that. She's into the mystic side of that. And to be in the mystic side as a woman, your sexuality is attached to that.
Right. And the divine feminine has been slowly making her way back for quite a while, because it wasn't until Queen Isabella of Spain came to rule that the queen became a piece on the chessboard, because the queen ain't always been no piece on the chessboard. It was male dominated. But when Queen Isabella took rule, that is when that piece became a piece on the chessboard. And when it became a piece, it actually moved one piece like the fucking king. But over time, it developed into becoming the most powerful piece on the fucking board. So there has been a slow reintegration of the divine feminine for quite a fucking while.
During the Salem witch trials, was a lot of girls that was happening to, right? There's always been this superstitious nature for women in Western culture.
Right.
And I think it pings back to something deep in our psychology. Something in our blood remembers a different time. And we're like, oh, hell no.
Right.
No. And look at what they're saying now. The country, America, is falling.
Right.
Why though?
Right.
Why though?
Because
They
women.
peg it to feminism.
Yes, they peg it
The
to feminism.
women.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The women, right? It don't have nothing to do with our foreign policy, right?
Right.
It don't have nothing to do with our national debt. Nothing. It has everything to do with feminism. That's what they bring up. Feminism. These people never even read a feminist book, right?
Right.
Never even read Bell Hooks.
Right.
Feminism, right? Why though? Because the woman is activating something very ancient, which is choice.
Right.
Choice for women is the destruction of millions of bloodlines.
Right.
If women look at the world and they're like, I don't like this,
Right.
your choice is the way that you fix it.
Exactly.
Man is not going to do anything. It's your choice.
So let me play for those of you all who are new to my platform. We got 329 people in here, so that's really good. Make sure y'all get the likes up. We got 250 likes, but I'm about to play a video of what is called sexual conflict. In biological terms, this is what is called sexual conflict, where there is an eternal and embedded, encoded conflict. What males, the human male, would call a gender war. There is encoded in nature a conflict between the sexes, where one sex's mating strategy is in direct conflict with the others, and they depend between them. It actually impacts negatively on the survival of the other sex. There is no such thing as a outside policy or influence causing men and women not to be together, because monogamy ain't real. Okay? All right, so I want to play this, and I want y'all to watch it. Okay? So let me pull this up.
To pass their genes along to the next generation, most animals need a partner. So in one sense, mating is cooperative, with each partner contributing half their DNA to the offspring. But mating also involves plenty of competition between the sexes. That's because both males and females are hardwired to try to make babies that can survive and reproduce. But they do this in totally different ways that actually threaten the other sex's genetic legacy. For males, it's all about quantity. Sperm are easy to mass produce, and most males spend little time or energy parenting, so their best mating strategy is to breed in bulk. The more offspring they have, the better the odds that some will thrive. For most females, this strategy doesn't work because they have a limited supply of eggs and spend lots of time and energy caring for their young. Instead, females want to make sure that they can get the best dad for every one of their offspring. Some choose only to mate with the biggest, flashiest, or best behaved males. Others mate with multiple males and then choose a winner. Chickens, for instance, can selectively squirt out sperm from subpar suitors. But the pickier females are, the tougher it is for the average male to make babies.
The pickier the females, the tougher it is for the average male to make babies. No, so we ain't talking about just humans. Baby, this is in nature in all of the animal fucking kingdom. But that you have... Religion has made you believe that there is some external force trying to break up men and women from each other. No. This is the oldest war on the fucking planet is between male and female, which is coded in to the biology of the sex urge, right? So let's continue.
Males have evolved ways to limit females' discretion.
Males have evolved ways to limit female discretion. Blindfold. You see that blindfold on your eye? And what way has human males done it? Through motherfucking religion. Right? Through social engineering. Brainwashing. Okay?
In some species, males take their mates through brute force.
We know we call that rape.
While males in other species take the slightly less unsavory approach of obsessively following their mates around to keep other suitors away.
We call that stalking.
Male squirrels try to ensure fidelity by plugging females' reproductive tracts with a fluid that hardens after sex.
What kind of shit that they doing with inhuman males to keep you from mating with somebody else? Huh? Marriage? Religion to make you stay monogamous to the male? Baby, this in their nature. That's a fucking squirrel. Right? The male is in a degenerate animal form. He is sunken to the lowest of the low. This is why they banned Andrew Tate, because Andrew Tate is speaking in a way that gives the male permission to sink to the lowest of his nature, which is dangerous to society.
A sort of biological chastity belt. And male fruit flies go even further. Along with their sperm, they release a chemical cocktail that deactivates other sperm, stimulates ovulation, and kills their partner's future sex drive with an anti-aphrodisiac.
They doing everything in their power to do this to you as a woman in so many different ways.
In response, females develop counter strategies to regain the upper hand, or wing, or paw. Some female squirrels, for instance, have figured out how to pluck out their chastity plugs. And in other species like ducks and hyenas, females have evolved maze-like reproductive tracts that require their full cooperation to navigate. Males evolve in response, and the sexual arms race keeps escalating, which explains why some ducks have penises that look like this. In general, the more promiscuous a species males are, the choosier the females, and the more intense the sexual arms race.
The more promiscuous the males are, the more intense or the choosier the females are. The power lies in you. You are the chooser. They pursue you, not the other way around. But they have turned the tables on you and put you in a position to pursue them for nothing. And then you prove and drain all your energy to keep them alive, which is what they want. It ain't never been about you and your well-being. It's all about self-sacrifice for the male's survival.
On the other hand, in species in which partners tend to have longer-term relationships and raise offspring together, like
the rest of that is bullshit, because we not raising offsprings together under no natural circumstances. It's all anti-nature that got a motherfucker staying with a person longer than they should be.
Mm-hmm.
What you think, Ken?
I'm with you. Again, so the only person that could create a system like that would have to be a man. Remember,
Right.
Man is able to control humans,
Right.
right? So the conflict is the master man and the master woman. One is in control of the physical realm, and the other is in control of the spiritual realm, the unseen, the metaphysical, right?
Right.
One has the ability to take things from the unseen and bring it into the seen, and the other one has the ability to take things from the seen and
Right.
put it into the unseen.
Right.
Right? That's why unalive and shit. Kill
Right.
it, destroy it, right?
Right.
So I think you have a clash right there. And
Right.
we'll always be out of harmony unless we know how to coexist. Here's the thing. I don't know if people see the movie Hancock before.
Mm-hmm.
Just the gist of the movie, these Will Smith and this character are a woman is built in pairs. They're super species.
Right.
But they get weaker when they're around each other.
Right.
So the only way for the master man and the master woman to coexist, they need space.
Facts.
This dynamic, how we mate and sleep in bed with each other every single night for 30, 40 years, that's how lions mate.
Right.
That's based on caveman mating. That's how you mate in a den.
Right.
When everybody sleeps on top of each other.
Right.
Right? Who said that was the win, right?
Right.
So the conflict is we're around each other too much.
Facts.
Period.
Yeah. Monogamy ain't real, and you ain't supposed to be living with each other.
No, there needs to be, because remember, one is dealing, so the male is the lowest part of the physical reality.
Right.
So where he can't control himself.
Right.
Right? Now, here's what would be the lowest part of the female? Ratchet. Anti-nature.
Right.
So now she's on the same level as the male.
Right.
Now she doesn't have no self-control.
Right.
Right? Because both, in order to scale, you need self-control.
Facts.
Right? The female has to be able to control her body to go to the next level, to master nature. And the male has to be able to control his body to have control over other males. But you mentioned something like Andrew Tate, Kevin Samuels, right? One of the things they have in common is they got the ability to get the male to follow.
Right.
That's telling you right there that it's sadly the majority of these individuals are designed for building someone else's empire.
That's it. They
That's
brought
the
slaves. And I've been saying that.
Slaves.
Their purpose
Slaves.
is slavery.
Slavery. And that was the dynamic and the mythology of Samaria.
Right.
That
And
the
I was about to say
human
that.
beings
Mm-hmm.
to be
slaves.
Mind gold.
Exactly.
And there's truth in that.
Yeah.
How do humans build empires? On the backs
Of-
of other people.
That's it. That's it.
Right? The
Because if the male don't have a purpose, if a higher level male does not give him a purpose, he will be purposeless. And so this is what even Jordan Peterson said, that the male has to have responsibility. Because if he doesn't, he'll become Peter Pan, right? And so this is why the government took two aspects from female nature, which is providing and protecting, and gave that responsibility to the male, which is not his true nature. They created the nuclear family to assuage the male and gave him that responsibility for looking after the family, but the male don't really want that responsibility, which is the reason why he leave his family, because it get too hard and he tired. It's not in his nature to even have a fucking family unless he earn it.
Pete, high value man.
Right.
Right? What were the bottom tier males doing? Telling women that they don't qualify for him.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But look at the high value man putting the low tier male to work. Spread
Right.
my word. Spread my word. Protect Kevin Samuels at all costs.
Yeah.
For why? But look, peep though, peep. Ain't that what males do when they're in the military? You
Yeah.
protecting politicians? Because for real, the high value man is actually your enemy.
Right.
He's the one putting you in your position that you don't want to be in. He's
Right.
the one that's making you go into the mines with no union and work to death. and
Exactly.
die early death. He's the one that got you expanding his empire. He's not lifting a finger. Donald Trump got dudes to storm the Capitol.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear shit, pardon me, about no alpha male, about no leadership, about men built the world.
Right.
A dude, a 1%er,
Right.
a 1%er got y'all to risk your freedom.
Right.
Right? Because of his words. That's whether people like Trump or not. That is a man.
Yeah.
That's a man. He might not have the polishness of Obama or whatever, but he got the ability to control other humans.
Yeah. That's it.
That's a man. That's a man. That's a man. Kris Jenner is a woman. You don't gotta like her. That is a master witch.
Right.
He manipulates nature for her own good and nobody else's.
Right.
Right? That's a she's such a master that the man she was laying up with, she turned him into a female. This was a high achieving athlete. Right? And allows him to walk around and look, he be trying to run for governor. So it doesn't matter if you like these individuals or not. Look
Right.
at their ability. You know who else is a woman? Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
That's a woman. Now, I'm not talking about is she good person? No, I'm talking about being able to transcend the body,
Right.
to go to the other realm. Now, how you use your manhood and womanhood, that's on you.
Right.
That's on you. Right? That's you don't have to save the world. Some men do, some women do. Right?
Right.
But it doesn't matter. But Trump's a man. Obama's a man. Jennifer Lopez is a woman. Kris Jenner is a woman. Beyonce is a woman. That's a woman. She has the ability to manipulate nature. When she's channeling Sasha Fierce and she's saying, "Oh, give me all your energy." This is an occult ritual going on. And she's waving her hands and she's channeling from what? From what? So I suggest that the women get into their witchy nature, because that's your real religion. Your real religion is not Islam, Christianity,
Right.
Judaism. That's male-centered religion.
Exactly.
Your religion is beyond nature. Your religion deals with blood. Your religion, your religion is you actually being kind of cruel. The witch is not really kind like that. She can be, but that's not her thing. You remember in all the cartoons how they always portrayed the witch? Ugly,
Right.
mean, right? Yeah. And guess what? The knight has to save the daughter from
Right.
right?
Right.
The witch is always a mean old lady, right?
Right.
So the witch is not. She's not nice like that.
Right.
She ain't nice like that. She's out for her own good and her own people's.
Right.
The witch does not save the community. She's not putting blackness first. You crazy? She gonna do black magic.
Right. No, real talk.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But that's so I think that's the thing. So just adding on for what you're saying, I think that's the issue, is that it's less witchy. They're performative with the crystals.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, it's a show.
Yeah, you don't show that on social media.
Right.
You don't show your altar on social media.
Right.
You don't show your spells and shit that you do on social media.
Right.
It's not performative, right? And if you was associated with a tribe of witches and wizards, and they would come after you for that, because you're actually supposed to move in silence. No one even is supposed to know what you are.
Right.
On the surface, you might be a Christian woman, but in the behind the scenes, you're a straight occultist playing with signs, symbols, herbs, spells, all type of shit. So I think that's where the power is. That's where it should go.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's wonderful. Let's see. You ready for some phone calls?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Let me go ahead and put the line up there. Listen, ladies. All right. If you're getting something out of this, please support the show. I ain't getting no ad revenue because we too raw up in here. Please give to the Cash App. Do us some super chats. Make sure that this message gets out. Make sure you support the show. We put a lot of energy and time into our mind and what we do to give you what we give you. So please show us some love and some respect. Okay, hold on. All right, who am I speaking with? Hold on. Oh, hold on. Never mind. Hold on, just a second. All right. Who we got on the line?
Rose.
Hey, Rose. How you doing?
How you doing? They call you Pastor P. I call you the Queen. Okay, you are the Queen. I don't know where to begin. Y'all done started something. Princella, you're magnificent. I love your guest. I did not know that this was where the show was gonna go. I had one question, but then your guest brought some stuff in. You brought some stuff in. I don't even know where to begin. This was just so much, and I appreciate it, and I have supported and will continue to support.
Mm-hmm.
So let me, I gotta fan myself. Okay, so let me start off with a couple of things. I want to start with one thing, but then leave it to the side. Your guest said something that was so powerful. He said I might ruffle some feathers, and I think he said something about Icelandic people or the Vikings. He was saying that in the DNA of these particular men, they were more, and the trigger word for me was DNA, is that there was something in them that made them the alpha male. And then it went over to a whole nother topic in my mind, is there something in the DNA of Black people that we seem to self-destruct, we seem to destroy. The other thing and this particular question, and that's just really a comment, but if your guest wants to comment, that's okay. The other thing, Princella, I agree with both of you on the Black male, and your guest also specified the Black male in America. This question is not for challenging purposes, it's to educate, because I like the way you break things down and you back everything you're saying. When you say the Black male is at the lowest on the totem pole, do you think that that's the environment that they are in, particularly Black American? The reason I say that is that growing up in Africa was very different. The men there were expected to perform, and they did perform. They did provide for their families. We didn't look to media. Media was not our barometer for life. Our barometer for life was our parents and the customs and the cultures. So do you think that what messed up the men here was when the culture was taken away, nobody listened, no men guiding the home, nobody wants to listen. Instead, like you said, we'll listen to the programs instead of the wisdom. Do you think that it might not necessarily, could be environmental as opposed to biological. There's just too much to say, but I know you have other callers, and I'll just leave it at those two.
Okay, Ken, take that.
Well, here's the thing: the environment is in the mind. A good person to listen to is Dr. Bruce Lipton, and he deals with the biology of belief. So when you already have limited belief and limited thinking, and your cultural narrative is that of somebody, of a victim of something happening to you, then that's your environment. You're gonna make your environment. If you go to a low income area, there's a trash can, and then next to it is trash on the street. You didn't have to put that there. When you're looking at the behavior, they don't have to do that. They choose to, and I'm from it, right? You don't have to have that building look like that. You don't have to treat the people the way you're treating them. You don't have to do that. You choose to do that. That's because the environment is in the mind. So these individuals are in America. There's public libraries. There's every resource on the books for you to scale. But unless the white man steps in, then it's not going to happen. There is no personal development minus the white male. The white man has to be the glue to make the Negro do better for himself.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, I'm there.
Okay, so what do you think about that?
Am I allowed to disagree respectfully?
Sure.
Okay. You said the white man, to some degree that might be true, but where I grew up, it wasn't white men who made people do better. It was what we saw growing up in our families and what we wanted for ourselves. So we pursued our good on our own. So that's why I have a slight, in some sense, I agree with you, but in another sense, I'm like, but what about those who did not necessarily have, who were not looking at that? Is that a possibility? You're not wrong, but what about those ones?
So my only reply to that is, why do so many people from the East come to the West?
I do agree with you, because if we had it all together, we would not have to come. We would not have to come here. But it was the other aspects that you talk about that made me, rethink that. So anyway, you guys talked about so much. It would take too much time for me to even ask. But thank you so much for. I loved a lot of what you said. The guest said, Princella, I loved a lot of what you said. You have done such a great thing. It's very empowering, because when you talked about philosophies, what you're doing is breaking down those philosophies, and people don't feel isolated. So just keep doing what you're doing. I will support. Thank you so much, and I'll go so you can take over callers.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, let's get some. Okay.
Unknown caller.
Hello, who we speaking with?
How you doing? This is Mondo.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing? Everything blessed?
Everything is blessed. Thank you for calling, brother. What you got for us?
Just trying to chop it up with y'all. I appreciate the content. Y'all really got some good dialogue as far as y'all talking about things nobody else is talking about, as far as with the male and female dynamic.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So a lot of these other people ain't really conversating on this level. Whether we agree or disagree, it's good to have these conversations. Like, it's really, really constructive and knowledgeable.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I definitely thank you for your appreciation. When we get men that call in with some sense, I'm always happy to talk to you, right? So I appreciate you listening in on the conversation. My question for you is, how did you stumble across this? Are you familiar with Ken, or how did you come across this?
There's the internet's full of all kind of, different podcasters and different speakers. Everybody got their position, and right now this trend was going on. Everybody talking about relationships and men and female. Oh
shoot! Hey y'all, can y'all stop calling? while I'm online, please don't do that because I just hung up on the guy on accident.
Hello?
Yes. All right. Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know if that was me. No, I came across from you. I've been following you. I've never heard of Ken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I pay attention to other people that have podcasts, and yours comes up along the algorithm of the manosphere more so, I believe.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, I think your podcast comes up on the Manosphere podcast. So I know you got a lot of women in your audience, but you probably got more men that you might not know of.
Right, I don't, because I think they smart enough to keep their mouth closed. Because if they come in here and they start talking, my lionesses, they gonna block them. So I think they just watch from the sidelines and don't say.
Well, everybody can't disagree respectfully, I guess.
Right. And ain't nothing wrong with that. We got to get it going, and the level of conversation that we have is definitely on another plane, right? And we're just not on the level that everybody else talking about, because people really talking about bullshit, right? Really talking about bullshit.
There's the ego. There's the men. A lot of the men got the ego, want to stroke the ego and bypass a lot of the knowledge that needs to be said. For the women to hear, because the women, most of the men dominate these spaces. Not a lot of women like you, speaking from the female perspective. So when it comes down to the knowledges of the sciences of this earth and the universe and all these different subjects that you and Ken are talking about, because it's a lot that y'all are talking about in one package, so it just needs to be articulated a little bit better to the audience, because there's an ego and everybody likes to get the credit for the knowledge and so on and so forth.
Right. Definitely. Well, I sure appreciate you calling in, brother. I hope you tune in to some other shows.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm tuned in. I'm checking you out.
All right. Thank you, man.
All right. Bless.
Bye. Okay. Did I? Let's see. Did I make that phone call? Miami, Florida. Okay. Let me bring that one in. Hello, this is Princella. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Princella. This is Sonia Spacek, the one that actually has been foretelling and propheticizing, and the witch that everybody keeps on talking about.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for giving us a call. What you got for us tonight?
Well, I've been listening to what you actually been saying, and it's not a black or white thing or any race. It's gypsy.
Right.
I'm gypsy, so it comes from gypsy line, Egyptians from Egypt. So they are dark people. They're Indian. The thing is that I understand that everybody's been going through slavery everywhere.
Right.
My ancestors, your ancestors, we're all the same. We all came from the same beginning of time. We all separated and moved on, and we all made our own places. Gypsies continue to travel all over the world. They've mixed with everybody. And the things that I've prophesized is extremely the truth. And for everybody that's going through so much, to tell you what I actually go through, I'm feeling people's emotions and hearing cries of little kids being molested. These guys don't even understand where that even comes from or how it even feels to have. It's supposed to be a gift, but it's not even a gift. This is not a joke. It's not about witches. It's about the bloodline that comes from it is from the beginning of time. And every prophet that is also a bloodline from that. They all prophesize. Gypsies, all fortune tellers, all come from the same bloodline. And people need to awaken to become more spiritual so they can be closer to their ancestors. They need to be able to get a candle put an altar, put food on the table for your ancestors, so your ancestors will protect you. As Black people, I know Africa, they've been doing that for the longest. And that's what we need to bring back. Because if we continue to allow ourselves to keep on further away from our ancestors in our ways, that tradition, you allow people with dark magic, such as the government, such as the churches, to have power over us. So to allow everybody to know and understand what is going on, and you guys are talking about me. Now you know. I'm Gypsy, from dark ancestors. My great-grandmother, she was a Gypsy woman, very dark, Black. My mother, white. So the way I look white. But I have blood of Black. And I've been treated horribly from the race, from my mother's ancestors to Black ancestors, that we should not be going against each other.
Right.
We are family, all of us. And where women are going against other women of different color, you don't even know where you come from exactly 100%. If everybody knew that everybody had some bloodline from every different race, because if not, we would be the blackest person, or the whitest person. And that's how come from that line it actually started. Do you guys understand that we shouldn't be separating ourselves? It's so sad that we separate ourselves because we allow other people or wherever entity is out there to destroy us and play us. What would you do if there was, say, aliens were to come onto Earth and take what would you guys do? Would you actually unite with everybody? Or would you go against them and put them in place so you can get out of there faster? That's the question that I want to know. Is people loyal to each other to know that your mother and father is actually the ones that gave you all life, and you're going against each other, and how your mother and father would actually feel, and what would they do to punish you guys? Because torture, father is torture, mother is nature. Father is going to go ahead and punish everybody. You're saying that the witch is dark and she's evil. There's dark and there's light. The light is good, the dark is bad. But we always need both, because without both, you cannot have balance.
Right. I agree with that. Right. And of course, my message here is unity, specifically unity amongst women, right? Because women have to take back their throne, because the planet depends on it. The planet,
100%.
The planet depends on women, right?
100%, because the women they are the nurturers.
Yeah,
and
I think there was even an article.
I think there was even an article,
a news article actually, that said how important women are to the world, to the planet, right? This is serious.
We are creators.
This is very serious, right? Okay, so
we create.
Yes, indeed. I thank you so much for calling in. We got a line of people that want to speak.
Just pass on to the people if they'd like to be able to come directly onto my site and learn a little bit more. And I'm also trying to help women. I'm not just doing it for just women. Trying to be able to create businesses for opportunities for us to all rise.
Yes,
there's
indeed.
no race. There's no nothing. I consider everybody my family, and I want to help everybody.
I appreciate it.
Everybody wants to prosper. Let's all unite together, and let's make it that nobody can actually tear us down again.
All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Pink Owl, Wisdom Vision.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All
No
right.
problem.
All right. Have a good
All
night.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's see.
Hello.
Hello, this is Princella. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, this is Janae.
Wait, what's going on, girl? What you got?
Uh-oh. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying my signal was bad. Okay, so I put some notes on this live because I just love it and it's so educational. But I do have some questions for Ken.
All right.
The first question is, what would be an example in the recent, I guess, say, centuries of an actual true alpha male? I know that Princella said General Carton, and that's kind of really recent. But what would be, at least a few examples that I can look up? Because I like to study this stuff. So, more so I'm just asking questions instead of commenting on the live. So do you know of any that were actual alpha males back then, as you described by definition?
Yes, I have one that we all know, Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a man. One of the things that made him a man, even an analog, because he stood on every single thing he was about. And he went against a teacher of his when he thought that the teacher wasn't adhering to what he was taught. That was a man, because what he was able to do with himself, of coming out, of making a transition from the streets into who he was. He had a command of the English language. He disciplined himself. He just was young when he passed. He wasn't even 40, if I'm not mistaken. He was young, but 41, 42 maybe. But to me, that was a man. Now, in
Go
analog,
back further, if you can. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but go back. I know you guys speak about Socrates and different. Go back there, because I want to go back to the beginning of what they wrote and how it influenced us of today. Malcolm is kind of more recent. So who's somebody, even further in the past?
Okay, so further. Okay, so all right, so so let's just say the character Jesus, based on the story, that's a man. The reason why it's a man, for you to be able to fast, that's one component, because you're suppressing a biological urge. The body wants to eat, and for you to be able to control your mind and tell the body, no, you're not eating right now, right? To be in a medical state for a long time, you're a man. Bruce Lee was a man, right? Now when I'm
it's the
Bruce
one
Lee
that
was
started my whole path, Bruce Lee. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay.
that was a man. Now, man, being a man is not about necessarily being a good person. You can do good. It's not about that. It's your ability to rise above the body. And one of the components that we see, when you do that, you begin to have control and influence over other human beings. When you talk, they listen. Not only do they listen, but they will change their life for you. They will give up their life for you. They will give up their family for you. Now, we see people that are charismatic figures able to have that effect on people. The difference is man has the ability to make other individuals transform. So even when the man is gone, it stays. Right?
Well, okay.
Legend.
I guess I'm struggling with that, because we can say that Andrew Tate has done that.
Well, how do we know? Okay, so we would have to be able to use somebody. So, for example, people build statues of Jesus all over the world, or what they think he looks like, right? People carried on the traditions of Bruce Lee with Jeet Kune Do, based on what he did. People carried on the traditions of Malcolm X. Malcolm X made men on drugs want to be a different character, even after his passing. So man, when you become man, there's like an iconic thing about you because of your influence over other human beings. Now, you can make people do good or bad, but it's just the transformation that you have on people is deeper than you being a charismatic figure. You actually have a philosophy. There's a system, right? I'll give you an example. Mamba mentality. Kobe Bryant. He's a man. He's not perfect. I'm not looking at through the lens, but one of the things about when you become man, there's a philosophy attached to it that you live by. Charismatic figures don't live by a philosophy. They just have they're easy on the eyes, or they have a certain type of sexuality. Charismatic figures always has a kind of a body element to them. That's what the appeal is. The promise that you're going to have a house, the promise that you're going to have land, the promise that you're going to get a woman, and there's aesthetics that go along with it. Man is above aesthetics. It doesn't matter how you look. Charismatic people, your appearance matters, right? Andrew Tate shows up looking a certain type of way. He talks about the car. That's all body. That's all body. Man talks about something that ain't here yet.
Okay. All right. One more question, and then I'll let you go. You did mention earlier in the live that there's a more diabolical need that men have for women, and I'm clear on what you guys have been saying those needs are, but I felt like you were talking about like back in history or some like old script or old knowledge that comment came from. So what were you referencing outside the examples that you guys already have gave in present time, or was that what you were referring to? Because when you said that, I was like, he's talking about something a little more at the beginning of time, or maybe I got that wrong.
No way, I'm talking about right now. Male nature is diabolical right now.
Well, I know it is right now, but I thought you were talking about the start of it, like something that's even deeper. From the past.
Well, yeah, I use like Paleolithic and Neolithic, right? That's a specific time period when the human being had to survive because there was components going on here, right? The male is still that. He hasn't went past that. He's still in that same place of a Neolithic, Paleolithic mindset. This is why they always compare themselves to ape and lions and animals, right?
Yeah.
They never compare themselves to dolphins,
right?
Or octopuses. And they're extremely intelligent.
Why do they always compare themselves to apes and lions?
Because that's their true nature. They aggressive and lazy at the same time.
Okay. And like I said, I'm writing this stuff down because for some of us, we don't know about Neolithic time frames and Paleolithic. So what I'm getting from you guys is, back and forth, and even Priscilla on her own, is we need to become studious again. And I'm not saying, people aren't, but we're living in this time frame of 5-second videos, 10-second videos, and I even find it hard for myself to pick up a book and just read it. But when I was in high school, I would finish 2 books a day. So you guys are also reminding me to get back to being studious without somebody telling you to do it because you need that degree, but really trying to understand the past so you can understand the present, but not live in the past. So I thank you guys for that. You are challenging me more to become studious again. And learning different things from the past.
Respect. That's what's up.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, that is all. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you, Janae. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
All right.
I think, did I take all the calls? Any other callers want to call in? I think I took all the ones that actually called. I think I called everybody back. If you want to call and ask Ken a question, please call and ask him a question. He's an open book, a mind full of knowledge and wisdom that you can tap into. Holler at him, right? In the meantime, let me holler at some people that then threw some cash apps in here. I think. Let's see.
I know.
What we got there? Yes, who are we speaking with tonight?
Hey, Princella, it's Nevada.
Hey, Nevada, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Excellent. What you got?
Okay, so tonight was like top tier level, genius, brilliant, excellent. Like nothing was missing from this conversation. Um, and I even enjoyed, like, I used Ken's, what he says, trigger through my guy. Like, I put that in the chat several times. Like, y'all just gotta be with what's saying,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not what you're hearing, it's what you're making it mean. And mostly it's like what we're making it mean about ourselves, or what we feel like we know to be true is what upsets us.
Right.
And so there was recently, Ken, this is for you, a video I was watching where you were going through your talking points about, how we need to be in elevating ourselves, and the nigga wanna nig, and things like that that you say that really drive your point home. But right in the middle of what you were saying, and it was about the money you spend to do your show to try to educate. And it was like a moment right there that you realized that something had possibly been missed, in that you were doing all that and spending more money. And you said if a financial advisor looked at what you were doing, he would tell you to stop. And you ended the show not long after that, because I really saw something got you. And I have been curious for like the last week. What did you see for yourself in that moment? What did you go back and reanalyze for the difference you're trying to make for people? And it really was like, I was really impacted by that moment, because I saw you have to deal with you and understand, like, why am I doing this? So I was just really curious about that. And it makes a difference also in, I got to look at areas of my life of like, why am I doing this? Is this making me what I want it to be? Is it, so I'm just curious, like, because that's where I go to. What made this person think that way, and what happened afterwards?
Well, interesting question. Well, what happened is it kind of, when I was talking, it made me realize that I wasn't intentional about building my platform. And intentional meaning like, what is this? And what do I want from it, right? Who do I want to become while I'm doing it? And it was a moment of like, I'm not talking to the right people, not because of them, but because I wasn't intentional about why I was here from the gate. And then you just wind up just keep going, and you get caught in a rat race. And that's just with anything. You want to be intentional of, why am I here, right? If I make this kind of investment, what do I want to get in return? Right? Like when you put the camera on and you begin to talk to people, like I got a whole family, I got people I'm responsible for. I don't have time for real to be in people's face, and I don't get nothing from it. And that's not a messed up thing to say. And when you come from a culture that it's like you're expected to give and give and give and give and give and give and give, and I'm like, nah. You know what I'm saying? You should get an investment. Now, some investments are going to come on the back end, but your personal legend comes first. That comes first. Right? Even if you want to help people, you want to elevate people, that's cool. But there needs to be a selfishness associated with it. I'm sorry. Especially when you're a parent. You have to big picture. Who do I want to become? And the money and the resources and the connections, that's extra. But at the end of the day, where do I want to go with this? And that's what happened when I was talking. I'm like, yo, I put a lot into this. And the reason why I'm not getting what I want from it, it's not having nothing to do with anybody else. You have to be intentional before you start something. That's anything. Marriage, friendship, relationship, podcasting. Why are you here? I think you talked about that earlier, P, about the why. That why matters. And if you don't address it, you're just going to be building and just going and going and going, and you're going to get frustrated with your own self because it ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. Why are you here? And let that be a selfish answer. Oh, I want to help people. That's altruistic. Oh, yeah. People going to get something from it. What do you want from it? And to say
Right.
and act like we don't want nothing from this shit, that's a lie. So that's what happened.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. And it was from that, and like I said, that's why I was curious, like what did you see for yourself to adjust afterwards? And you can answer that or not. But I also took from that video and what you've been sharing even here tonight is that in mirroring that with Princella's message is that women right now are like the target to who she's trying to elevate. Also, when I listen to you, I hear the same thing. And I love the fact that you keep women out of your conversation for the most part. Like you do have things to say, but it's not going down that same vein of the male podcast, etc. I just want to say that moment for me and what you've also shared before that and after is that what made it okay for me to be and stand in that selfishness. And I've seen it come out in my conversations with people or how I'm moving with, working my contracts and then running my own business, running my mom's business. And it just has like that from that moment, just curious of how you adjusted that for yourself. But it gave me enough space and room to be selfish, to not worry about what other people are talking about. I know that and when you're talking about, women have the power to change nature. Like I literally feel that happen in my life right now. So I just wanted to say, like, I really acknowledge that you put yourself out there as a man to, be authentic, be vulnerable, and to let us see when those moments happen. But yeah, I was just really curious, like, what was the adjustment? Because I'm going for the mind. I want to know, how do you alter your environment in that way?
Yeah, intention, right? Intention.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, it was the word, right? You got to come up with
Right.
the word. It's intention, and we in America, right? We want to get somewhere,
Right.
but if you find yourself providing hella value, and
Right.
on the back end, what you're not even breaking even,
Right.
there's nothing
Mm-hmm.
wrong with the people. Something wrong with you, right?
Right.
There's something wrong
Mm-hmm.
with you. Because if you ain't getting yours out the game, something wrong with you. So you can't
Right.
complain. It's not the people or nothing. Give people
Mm-hmm.
what they ask for. What do what do people want? McDonald's,
Right.
Burger King, Starbucks.
Right.
That's what people want.
Right. Right.
That's what people want. What's the stuff that got the highest views? Salacious content. That's what people want.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Why are we here? Why are we
Right.
here? Right? So
Right.
that was just an aha moment of like, yo, personal
But
development.
it was a perfect display of the highest level of accountability and responsibility. Leadership was just like right there. It ain't pretty. So yeah, I respect that a lot.
Yeah, you gotta switch
Thank
crowds.
you.
And I mean, to sum it up, niggas gonna nig. If you're trying to do
Right.
personal development, don't do it with these people. You better switch
Right.
crowds. You better switch crowds for people that take their life serious, because the nigs is not it.
Right. And I saw that realization for yourself. I totally saw it. So I appreciate it. Yeah, I just been marinating on that for like the last about a week since I watched that video. And I'm like, man, how did he handle that? What was going through his mind?
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, I
I
appreciate you.
appreciate it. All right. Have a good night. Thank you, Princella.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Let me get these other callers. Let's ring one more time. All right. They must be busy.
Hello?
Hello, this is Princella. We still live. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Princella. This is Nikki.
Hey, Nikki. How are you? What you got for us
I'm
tonight?
doing well. Yeah, I really am enjoying the show very much. My question is, and it's to really either of you guys, and this is specifically within the black culture that I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
There's like Ken said, there's an emphasis on, entertainment, dancing and all this, physical activity. And I'm trying to figure out where, what's the root of that? Where did that come from? Because it seems like it's specific to black culture. Am I wrong about that? That's my first question.
Can't take it.
No, I think that comes from when you can't read. When you can't read, I think it comes from there, and I think it also comes from the black church, because the black church, the experience is a very emotional experience. People are hollering, people are, pent up, sexually repressed, culturally repressed. So people go yell. This is the first place you see this at. People screaming at the top of their lungs, and it's full of dance. It's full of singing, and you take that first experience into the world. So I think it's that, and I think it's based off. We have a big emphasis on how we look, right, instead of how we think. So everything is performative, and also we're a product. We're a product. You know what I'm saying? The Negro in America is a product, right? That is designed to make people laugh. That's designed to make money off of. You know what I'm saying? And designed to mule, and that's what it is. And here's the thing. You can't fix it. That is the design. You can't fix it.
Right.
That is the permanent underclass can't be fixed. The best you can do, if people care, talk to these babies.
Yeah.
When they get over a certain age, talk to these babies, because them kids gotta still go home to them parents. So unless you have something that can take them out of the culture, unless you have a ranch, unless you can adopt, them kids gotta go back home. Don't matter. You can't, but you cannot fix this. It is called the permanent underclass, and this underclass is more sophisticated than the caste system in India. There will be no upward mobility. Nothing. It's set because what you got controlling it is algorithms and computers.
Facts.
So the computer and the algorithm does not have human sympathy. There ain't gonna be no John Brown. There ain't gonna be no people with good hearts or an Amish person or abolitionist. Once algorithm is fully over,
Amaya, stop it!
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. So yeah, you can't fix it.
Which and they've already showed you that, because Thomas Sotomayor has been banned off of YouTube. He tried to. I just got word that he tried to make another page, another channel, and they banned him off of that. So these platforms, this is what you're sucked into. You are plugged in. This is the new reality, and with the algorithm, it's stopping you. Hell, algorithm stopped me over there on YouTube. On Facebook. You dealing with it on Facebook yourself, Ken. Right? Tommy Sotomayor tried it on TikTok. Shut down. If you don't get it together, there's a very, very slim window and time frame for you to get it together. If you don't make it through this window, that's it.
That's it. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
So-
There's a
so
movie
with
called
that-
Elysium. You should
mhm.
check it out. I'm sorry. There's a movie called Elysium. Check that out. That's about permanent underclass. It has Matt Damon in it. It's called Elysium. So
I've heard of that
everything
movie.
in movies. Yeah, you should check it out, because it's about the permanent underclass.
Okay, so with that said, I know Princella is focused on enlightening women specifically. So what are the steps, or how can women, because obviously a lot of women are caught up in this underclass mentality themselves, How, I mean, it's going to take a lot of work to really break that mindset, because and I see it in the media all the time with Black women being portrayed, and to me, they're falling into the same, psychology. And I'm not saying don't expose your body and be free, but at the same time, who are you catering to and who's encouraging this? Do you have real control over your being, or are you acting this way and behaving like this because you're trying to please men mainly? Because obviously all, the way, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not against women being free and showing their bodies on media and dressing a certain way, whatever. But what are you doing that for? Who are you doing that for? And what's encouraging you to do that? So my thing is, you can be free, but you can be I can't even find the right words to say this, but to me, you have to be free within yourself and doing it for the right reasons, and not playing into society, their expectations, behaviors, trying to get men's attention and so forth. In my world, and I love Princella, and I totally agree with everything she says. I watch her channel, Princella, and I'm totally on board with you. Women do need to just turn their backs on men, period. And that means close their legs as well. Because to me, that's the only way to really transcend the patriarchal system and what the patriarchy is dictating to us right now. So that's my comment.
The thing with that, you can't just turn your back on men. You got to turn your back on male gods too. And then you can't just stop there. You got to turn your back on the entire culture. And you can do this with a visualization exercise. All you have to do is look at the culture as an ex that you detest. That's somebody that you said, oh, I can't stand this person, I'll never deal with them again. That's all you have to do. Visualize the culture as an ex. Visualize the culture as someone that really, really hurt you, that you wouldn't pee on if they was on fire. You got to visualize it first, because it's bigger than dating. It's a whole mental shift of how to look at the world. Because if you turn your back on men, if you turn your back on men, but you never take your socks off and go grounding, then what's the point? If you turn your back on men, but you never wake up and you never sun gaze, what's the point? If you turn your back on men and you never go towards nature to pray, because if it's anything you're going to be naked for, you should be naked laying in the dirt. You should be naked on the ground, on the beach, on the sand, so your body can get electric. So it's bigger than just going away from men. If you're going to go away from men, then you have to have a complete cultural divorce from everything. From everything.
And ultimately, that's my point. Ultimately, but you have to start somewhere, and starting, because you're talking with everything you said, and I totally 100% agree with you. But you have to start somewhere, because if you're being distracted by society, by men in particular, you're not gonna be able to take your socks off and ground yourself, because you're thinking about what's his name did yesterday or whatever. So you have it. For me, as a starting point, you have to divorce yourself from, yes, society, um, the culture, and also the, obviously the people within the culture that's going to distract you from your own spiritual journey. You have to start somewhere.
I'm a keep it a buck with you, beloved. When it come to personal development, when you done, you done. Like when you done, you done. Period. Everything go. You ever see some people just go so crazy? They sell the furniture, they cut their hair, they're just done. You know what I mean?
I've been there twice. Yeah.
Right. They're just and the reason why I'm saying that is because that's sometimes a way for us to trick ourselves out of it. Let me just go in steps or do with some things, yeah. But when with this shit, with the culture, it's like to save yourself, you gotta be straight done. And you'll figure out how it looks. But you gotta be straight done. Because the permanent underclass is not about money. It's an energy that surrounds you. You can't eat with these people. You can't watch what they watch. You can't hang with them. You can't nothing. It's total. So, all right, I'm gonna leave you with this. Look at the God in the Abrahamic religions. When that God is done, he flood your city. He burn your shit. Right? There is no. You gotta. There is no. It happens in a process. No, when that God of the Bible comes for your town, comes from your babies, comes for your it completely annihilates you.
Right.
Like that. So you have to remember, woman, your religion, your womanhood is associated with nature. Now look what nature does. When the hurricane comes, does it play around? When the tornado comes, does it play around? When the earthquake comes, does it play around? Right. Or is it complete and utter destruction? So it gives no fucks. Who's there? It gotta go. No negotiating. When you don't be scared to be done, because there's another you on the other side of that. That's super better than the version right here.
Yeah.
Don't worry about being done.
Yeah.
That's facts.
Wow.
That's facts.
Well, I appreciate the show, guys. Princella, I love when you have Ken on because he's so, he's like an encyclopedia almost. So that's great. And the show is really like the other caller said, there's no other podcast like it. So I really appreciate everything you're doing, and I'll keep on watching, keep on supporting. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You have a good night.
Have a good night.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
All right, Ken, we're going to take one more caller and then we're going to let them go because we've been on here for 3 hours already. Yeah. It's at least this 3 hours is a quality 3 hours because Lord, let me tell you.
What was his name? Brad? What was his name?
Brad, yeah. Brad. He had, how long we was on there? 4 hours? Yeah. And then Trev Smooth had me on there for almost 8 hours.
You got some good ones.
Yeah.
Some good ones.
Oh, yeah. Brad didn't even call me and say thanks for having me on. I ain't heard no more from Brad.
That was hilarious.
Hello, who we speaking with tonight?
Hello, this is Liz. Hey. Hi, Kim. Hi, Priscilla.
Hey, hello. What you got for us?
I'm gonna keep it as short as I can.
Okay.
Okay. First thing is with the turning back on men. Once you're done, bear with me, right? Now, really quick. Don't want to somber the mood, but by 2 years old, when I was 2, I knew what molestation was from my stepdad, right? Which I thought was my real dad because at some point I thought that I was supposed to go through it because I was a girl. But when I saw an episode from Good Times when I was about 8, maybe 9, I realized this is not supposed to happen. So automatic, I gained a hatred towards men. When I was 11 years old, on my way to school, I had a grown male grab me by my book bag, whisper to my ear, and I was in Washington Heights. I live in the Bronx. And he said to me, "You're going to be mine soon, whether you like it or not." And I said to myself, why am I keep going through this? Is it because I'm a girl? Because I don't see nobody else doing it. So fast forward some time, years later, I find out I'm pregnant when I'm 23. It was the last thing I wanted to hear. Because little did I know, in the conception time, I was unconscious. I was unaware. I didn't even know. I didn't prepare. I didn't have no plans at all to have kids. But I did. I have my first son, who's now 17. 5 years later, I have my second son. So then I asked myself, wait a minute. Not only did I expect to have kids, but I have 2 boys. And now my 17-year-old takes advantage of my nurturing. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous and I have an accent. But my nurturing ways. So now at 39, I date the same sex. So I do have a girlfriend. And someone said to me, that's because of what men did to you. I said, no, not really. That's because I know the difference now. A woman, I feel safe. I feel loved. I feel respected. I feel valued. But because it's an add-on already to how I feel, it took me this long to value myself. So here comes my first question, and probably the only. How can I have the mindset of saying I'm done with men mindset when I have 2 boys that are still grabbing the chicken head and just don't let it go, if you know what I mean? How can I do that as a single mom of 2 boys?
Being done with men, that doesn't have anything to do with your sons. Being done with men is being done with men. Your sons are your sons. That's a tribal thing. Everything else is a cultural thing, right? You don't have to be done with the babies. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be done with the babies, but being done with men, that's a different thing. I also wanted to say something too, and I just want you to hear it how I'm saying it, because this is what I go by. There's some things that happened to me in my life, and when I started coming into real personal development, I did things like neuro-linguistic programming, and I had to do something real crazy. I had to ask myself, why, out of all stories, why did I pick this story? Okay. So I had to ask myself, why did I pick the mother that I picked? Why did I pick the father that I picked? Why did I pick someone putting their hands on me? Who would pick some crazy shit like that? Right? Now, that was something I had to trigger through, because why would I come to the planet and put myself through that kind of fucked up initiation? Right? And it was something I had to trigger through. And trust me, I did not want to be that person in my story. I wanted to say, Mama, why you let that man's son come in my room? Mama, what? I wanted to do that. I did not want to be the person in my story of why that happened. But fast forward. Here's the crazy thing. Weird, but trigger. If that shit never happened to me, I wouldn't even be talking to you. If somebody wasn't, listen to what I'm saying, and I'm a parent now, and I deal with objective, and I deal with the spirit realm. Look, if that never happened to me, you wouldn't even know me, wouldn't even have nothing to say. The only reason I'm here is because I've been through fucked up shit. It's the only reason I'm here, because I've been through pain and I've been alone, and somebody was touching on me and nobody protected me, and I've been through poverty and I've been through violation. right? That's the only reason I'm here. I'm not here because I read a lot of books. I'm read because I've been through initiation being on this planet. Now, it's me saying that, it depends on where you at in the story and how you see yourself. And this is how I'm going to answer your question. You don't have to let your sons go to be done with men. Only thing you do is you just embrace their humanity, meaning that you don't own them. They came through you for a reason, for you to learn something. You got to learn why that is. This is not a victim blame. In the occult, there's no such thing as victim blaming. In the occult, we take full responsibility of everything, even the fucked up shit that was done to you and that we did to others. So them babies, you can divorce these niggas. Fuck these, excuse me, these dudes. But those humans that you have, they're your teachers. And that's all it is. So you could be done with the world and still allow your teacher to teach and still walk through this life with each other.
Thank you. Ken, I really appreciate also your platform and really wish that a lot of men can follow the example. Priscilla, you should be a doctor because you actually help a lot of women, including myself. I said, holy crap, I'm not crazy. The video you did about your friend who passed shortly after that video, I cried because I said, oh crap, I went through that, similar, but you save lives. Because when I turned on YouTube, I was in a dark moment, and here comes Priscilla in the videos, and it's just back to back to back to back to back. So thank you so much, Priscilla. Thank you for doing what you're doing. You literally saving lives, and you do not need a doctor's degree. Ken, thank you so much. I appreciate your honesty and your answer to my question. You guys, many, many blessings. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night. I appreciate your call.
Thank you.
All right. What you think? What you think about this, Ken?
Unknown caller.
We got one coming through. Hello, this is Princella speaking. How may I help you tonight?
Hey, I just caught the show late. Just first, may I ask what is the? I see the title, raising feminine consciousness. What has been the full mode of the conversation tonight?
Oh, I would have to tell you to go back and watch it if you hadn't seen it, because it's
I respect that.
It's too heavy.
I respect that. Well, yeah, I caught the previous two callers, and they they spoke on some heavy stuff, and I agree with what Ken was talking about picking your story, picking your parents, because I'm a male. When I was 5, my father had me when my mom was 18, he was 19. I was 5, and I recently found out that an old girlfriend of my father's, some crazy stuff happened to her. She actually used to molest me serially, and at home and public bathrooms, like in restaurants, and I found out from my uncle that this girl actually used to get she was actually raped by her father a lot when she was growing up, and I really I never really forgave her. I thought I was healed from it, but as of recent, I've been doing some more subconscious digging into that, and I agree with where Ken was going with that, because this has allowed me to be leader for whoever it is that I've come into contact with, for whoever has chosen me to be like a beacon of light for my younger siblings and things of that nature. And I felt like sharing that because I see the title is Raising the Feminine Consciousness. And, you know, it's women that go through things out here. And I think it would benefit a lot of people for women to in air quotes turn their back on men, because right now, where the culture, the state of society, period, is just it's in like a downward spiral, and clearly people can't connect on a level to where things are in harmony. So the stuff that you go through, I'll say what Ken said, trigger through it, but we pick it. Why somebody would pick such a traumatic roller coaster life, I don't know. Or, well, that's for us to figure out. So, I don't want to point. I don't want to drop bombs. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because it's I think it was in line with the last callers. But I appreciate the show. And if y'all have any last words or questions, I'm gladly open to listen.
Well, first, I want to thank you for calling and sharing your story and being vulnerable and open up. That's something that is very rare for males to do. So I definitely appreciate you calling and doing that. I'm going to let Ken talk to you man to man.
Well,
do you have any kids?
Nah.
How old are you?
23.
I'm sorry that happened to you, and I'm gonna just tell you something real. Don't have no kids. Don't. And the reason why I'm telling you this, because for you to find out why that happened, you need to do that childless, bro. Don't have no kids, and do not get in a long-term relationship, because you are going to be trying to find yourself on somebody else's time. Don't do it. From dude to dude, I already know this story. I already know how it goes. Let me tell you how it goes. You're going to bump into somebody that sees something in you that you don't see. You're going to bump into somebody that is super interested in you, right? You're going to bump into somebody that just straight loves you in a way that you're going to think is unrealistic. And what you're going to do is you're going to punish her for that because you don't see it. And you're going to make her an enemy for loving on you. And she's going to chase you, and she's going to figure out why can't she just love on you. And you're going to be super mean to her because you don't know why she's doing this. You're waiting for the punchline to come, because until you figure out why you chose that, you're going to think you're unworthy. And the reason why I'm saying don't have no babies, because a baby's going to be born in that environment, and it's going to be a dysfunctional household, and you'll be damn near my age trying to figure it out. But the problem is there's a 10-year-old that been looking at you ain't a mom, right? You got time. You 23. I'm almost 40, right? So spend your time on the hero's journey, right? And any girl that likes you, be honest and tell her you are not ready for that. And you not. I'm just being honest. And do not have no babies. Don't listen to no red pill. Don't listen to none of that. What you went through, you need to hack your biology. And the way that you do that, you have to constantly, every single day, you have to think positive thoughts about yourself. You have to basically create a new picture. You don't have nothing to give to nobody. Nothing. You are in need of listening. Do not, I'm telling you, bro. Do not. I had my son at 24. When he was born, I didn't even know what to do. I didn't even know what I was looking at. I was numb through his mother's pregnancy. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was shocked. And I had nobody to talk about this kind of stuff with. Don't do it. Because then you're going to grow on another woman's time. And she's going to chase you around the world. Right? Why can't I save him? Why can't I save him? Why can't I save him? And you're going to look up. And this girl you think was so beautiful, her face is going to start to crack. Right? Her weight is going to fluctuate. Right? Your conversation ain't going to be the same. It's going to go 0 to 100. Why? Because she's been chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing. So now she done lost herself. She done lost herself. And her parents are calling and she's lying about how y'all doing. Don't do this. Right? You only 23. These next couple years, bro, you on the road to recovery. Don't jack off. Don't do none of that. Give yourself time to become the person that you are. Now, if you do this, you'll know why you put yourself through that. Because the dude on the other end of it, the blessing is crazy. There'll be a better woman if you choose her later. There'll be a better family if you choose it later. There'll be a better lifestyle if you choose it later. But if you dive headfirst into it right now, you are going to create a family that's a straight statistic. I'm telling you what I know. Give yourself time, bro. You heard?
So, damn, I want to, I wanted to fall back on the topic at hand because I see the title. I definitely hear you, what you say, and I appreciate that. That's some real knowledge. Yeah, I think I ain't even got no question or really an add on but that's 100 for sure. That's 100. That's 100.
Yo, bro, did you hear what I said? You hear what I
Yeah,
said? Give yourself time, bro.
just give myself some time.
Give yourself some time, bro. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed. People better than you and I have been through this stuff. But give yourself time and don't skip over what I'm telling you. Don't even worry about that title. Don't worry about what women talking about. Don't even if you come to YouTube, listen to a guy named Wayne Dyer. If you come to YouTube, listen to Abraham Hicks. If you come to YouTube, listen to Brian Tracy and Zig Ziglar. If you come to YouTube, listen to Louise Hay. Don't listen to nothing hip hop. Don't listen to nothing urban. Nothing. Listen to meditation stuff. Nothing, bro. Don't get caught up in these titles. What you've been through, you need the next 2-3 years, bro, on a solo dolo journey. You cannot engage in games and play because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You are going to be a 40-year-old nigga that's broken. If you don't change it right now, you don't have to take my word for it. But since you said what you said, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and I'm being a lighthouse. You could take it or leave it. But if you leave it, I already know your outcome.
I needed to hear that. I appreciate you, Ken.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate that. Nice show, Princella. I like the podcast. And I'm gonna take your word for that, brother Ken.
For sure, bro.
For sure.
Thank you so much for calling in and expressing yourself, and I do hope that you take his advice.
I will. Appreciate that.
All right.
Have a nice night.
You too. Bye-bye. So what you think about tonight's show, Ken?
It's so crazy because you can't even really get to personal development till you get through this.
Right.
Like, people is genuinely hurting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he a baby. He 23. He walking around with that on him. You know what I'm saying? There's girls walking around with that on them. We can't even get, that pyramid you talking about?
Right.
We can't even get there.
Right.
Because I guarantee you open that line up more, that's everybody's shit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
It's everybody's thing.
Right.
It is a thing that is baked until this culture that you just born into this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you can't even get to personal development.
Right.
You can't even get to it. It's ill. It's like cycle repeating. Like, what are we talking about on these podcasts? Like, what are we talking about?
Right.
And it's filled with people that have that experience and they don't know why and they don't know how to channel it. And then he goes and makes 5 babies.
Right.
Like, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
This is the moments where you're like, yo, that's a lot to handle to listen to something like that.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that's why it's got to be a transformation. It's got to be an awakening, right? We got a lot of work to do, Ken. We got a lot of work to do. And like I told you earlier, I'm going to name this Princella's Ark. It's going to be Princella's Ark because the flood is motherfucking coming. Winter is coming. Baby, y'all better hop on this. Okay? We got a small window of time. Y'all ain't got a lot of time to be fucking around like you think you do. These next 2 years, this is it. 2023, you better find a way to get through this window. Right?
Because, when I cross over, I'm not coming back.
Right, me either.
I'm not coming back. Once I cross over to where I want to go, it's too much over here.
Right.
That's a lot. And that's the majority.
It's the majority.
Right?
It's the majority, yeah.
So when we cross over, it's still going to be people like that, but the difference is they're going to be paying $5,000 an hour.
Yeah, that's it.
Because to listen, come on, man, I got to wait a second before I go to sleep. That's somebody else's dreams on me.
Right.
I already did my shadow work. Now that's somebody else's shit. I got to wait a second. I can't just lay down with that.
Right.
Yeah, that's a lot. Y'all need to take care of each other, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Now, for everybody, I want y'all to know that the registration for my workshop, December 10th, is up on the website. Okay? I prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that men are incapable of love through my 5 components of love in accordance with male nature. This is important that you see this. This is going to be the last time that I'm offering this at the price that it's at. Okay? In 2023, the price is going up. Because there's going to be a high demand for this, right? You have seen the reviews, right? The video reviews. This is going to be December 10th. It is going to be held via Zoom. I expect it to be a full house in there. You can go and register at PrincellaTheQueenMaker.com and click workshop. Okay. Nevada has the link in the comments section. This is a workshop that you're not going to want to miss. It will never be, the price will never be as low again as it is now. So I want you to get in there because this workshop is going to change your entire life. Because this is the beginning of you being able to break your mental attachment and obligation to men and to learn what love is, to start to set yourself in the right way to put it on yourself. There is a paradigm shift, and it's finna hit hard in 2023, and it's gonna take place for about 2 years. After that, if you don't get it together, you gonna fall by the wayside because the shit finna hit the fan.
The closer we get to 2030, it's official. The closer we get to 2030, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap, and you can't save it. And ugh, to hear young people like that kind of grinds my gears. You know, the young, like, we done passed it to the young people. We done passed this bullshit to, like, 23. So there's a girl version of him too. You know what I'm saying? 23. And again, when the crossover happens, you can't come back here. It's like light. You can't look back. It's gonna turn into a pillar of salt.
Oh yeah,
because it's too far gone.
Right.
You can't change it. So you have to just round up who you can and just keep it pushing and create your own culture.
That's it.
This is too much. This is too much. And don't nobody care about the young people. That's funny. It's not funny actually, but it's just yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Well, y'all, it has been real tonight. And I thank y'all for kicking it with us. When I do, you notice I don't do live shows. One, because I still work a slave job. I'm still a slave in the body right now. Hopefully 2023, I will no longer be a slave to the body anymore. But I only, outside of that, even if I didn't have this, I wouldn't do these lives more than twice a week because these are very, very high quality lives, right? It's packed full of information and it take a lot of energy. I can't do this every day. It take too much energy, right? And these are long lives. We've been going on for 3 hours and 37 minutes. You can't do this every day, right? So quality comes, you don't have quality in abundance like that, right? Right? So you got to value what we put out here. When we put it out here, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff, engage with the content. All right. And you can find Ken at Ken Billions. He has his own YouTube channel at Ken Billions. All right. And how often you go live, Ken?
I usually maybe 3 times a week, 3-4 times a week. I skip a day. But you know, I very rarely let callers call in unless it's a smoke show.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you know, I just get into the people that call.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you have to do this. Unfortunately, you have to have a distance between you and the people that listen to you.
Right.
There has to be a distance between you, because especially when you get involved in their life.
Right.
And this is a lot. You know what I mean? It's a lot because everybody's going through something, and it's a specific thing when you're coming from this background that people call is very heavy.
Right.
It is heavy. And you know, when you got family and you got things to move, like, that's your energy. Now it's on me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's usually 3, maybe 4 times a week, every other day. And as you could just find me at Ken Billions.
Right.
Yeah, Ken Billions.
Yep. Coin Gang Ministries, right?
Yeah.
And
Heaven on Earth. heaven on earth. And what that young man was talking, that's not heaven on earth.
Right. That's
You know what I mean?
hell.
That's hell. That's hell. And okay, real quick, when you get a criminal record and you're about to get probation, they do something called a saline report, right? So they start going down the list of what kind of family you have, what kind of economics you come from, your background. I mean, it's very detailed. And what they're trying to predict is, will you be another offender again?
Right.
And it's usually yes, right? The numbers suggest yes, right? And what is the odds and the likelihood of the youngster finding heaven on earth? It's possible. It's possible. But he would need to totally divorce everything he knows.
Right.
And that's very difficult because we're creatures of habit.
Absolutely.
So it's messed up that based on the numbers, what the numbers suggest, how his life is right now, based on the numbers and what the system says, he's gonna be on that course for the rest of his life.
Right.
That's based on the numbers. Can he come out of it? Yeah, it's rare. Fuck, it's rare. And that's the messed up thing. 23?
Right.
And guess what, P? There's a 13-year-old version of him.
Yeah.
And a 5-year-old version. Damn. But feminine, fit, friendly, cooperative, though, right?
Right. Exactly. Low level with no intrinsic value. So, y'all, it's been real. I'm gonna let y'all go because it is late. It's 12:41 here. It's probably 1:41 somewhere, and it's probably 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning somewhere else. All right. So, have a good night. Make sure y'all sign up for the workshop. All right. And we're gonna see you on the next show. All right. Y'all have a beautiful evening. Peace out.